It's another edition of KFC Radio on the Barstool Sports Network, week 5 of quarantine, and we're into a new frontier, I think, John. It sounds like even maybe you are getting bored.
Well, here's the deal. So, there's a lot to happen here. First of all, I want to just address this. Let's get out in front of it. I'm being a bit of a cunt today. Just in my own head. I'm not doing it outwardly, but I've motherfucked basically everyone today. Not my brothers in the room right now. Not in family. Just business people and work people and strangers on the internet, which that one's not new. But I've been very perturbed all day, and I think that might mean it's starting to get to me a little bit.
Okay, let me also get out in front of mine. I have a fucking huge pimple on my head, and that's been bothering me.
Okay. We'll both do our best to hide it for the next hour.
Sometimes you just have one of those days, and I feel like as a man, you're not allowed to have those days as much. I feel like girls have those days like 4 days a week, and they either blame it on their period or they blame it on something. But girls are allowed to just be fucking assholes all the time.
I want to be clear. I'm not being an outward asshole. It's all internalized. I'm doing it right. But
so even better though.
Huh?
That's what guys do. It's like we have bad days and we just shut our mouths about it. Girls could be assholes and then they'll just be like, "I'm sorry, I was just hangry." And it's like, and the guys are always just like, "Okay, whatever. I don't want to continue like this fight, so whatever, we're fine." Whereas if a guy was just, could you imagine if you were just like a fucking dickhead to your girlfriend all night and then you were like, "I'm sorry, I just needed a snack." Like, no,
I can't laugh at that because I do that. It's not like I'm not like a dickhead, but I have a sharp change in personality when I'm hungry. That's what when you texted me before this and said you ready to rock, and I said give me 2 minutes. That's what I wanted to get this some pistachios, and I just like hope that helped.
Yeah, you needed something.
We'll find out.
I don't get that. I don't get that feeling. I don't think I do the hangry thing, like, because I'm surprised by that with you, because you go long patches without eating.
Yeah,
like,
I'm furious.
That's why you're always an asshole. I can be like dead fucking starving, and I don't think I'll be an asshole about it.
No, I mean like the thing is too, I know it. Like it's a 100. Like I know like, I'm just hungry right now.
Yeah.
So I do my best once I do it once I feel it hit to go get some food. But I'm like I can tell I'm being a different person, and I know I haven't eaten in a while, so I'm gonna get it. But that's not what the whole problem is. I blogged it on Saturday where it was just like I woke up. It was like I wasn't even out of bed yet. I was like I'm bored.
Yeah.
It's why we're so lucky. One of the many reasons we're so lucky to still have a job, because Monday to Friday I got shit to do.
Yeah.
But like I woke up, grabbed my laptop, and blogged a blog about how I'm bored without ever getting out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
It was an immediate thing, and that's when I think I learned. I realized, and I touched on it with Dalia the other day. I realized that I don't like doing nothing. I like not doing other things.
Right.
And that's
the beauty of nothing is blowing off your plans or responsibilities or not having to do things. But when you take away all the things you have to do, there's no satisfaction.
Right. I kind of joked about it, and we've joked about it a lot before, and it was always, to me, it was a joke. And now I'm like, oh no, that's serious. That's like I haven't started Ozark yet. I started Ozark. I started 10 minutes of it. So, but I finally did that yesterday. So when I'd written the blog, I had not started it. But I don't like watching Netflix because it's not doing something instead of doing something else. Does this make sense? Like,
yeah.
I wrote that blog on a Saturday. You could have asked me every other Saturday for the entirety of my life, what are you up to today? And with confidence and gusto, I would have told you nothing, chilling on the couch. And I'd have been happy as a fucking clam to be doing it.
Yeah.
And then now I'm like, what are you doing? Nothing. Because on the other times I'm sitting on the couch, I was not at the park. I was not at the gym. I was not shopping. I was not cooking. I was not doing other things. I was avoiding things. Mm-hmm. And that was enough for me. Yep. And now I'm not avoiding anything, and I miss it.
Yes.
I don't even like scrolling Twitter anymore. It's because it's not a vehicle of procrastination.
Right. That's what it is. You enjoy procrastinating, and with no responsibility, goal, work to achieve, you can't procrastinate.
Like you can't do it. You used to say in college all the time, like, "Oh, I write my best papers the night before," which was total bullshit. But I think it was real. I think I wrote my.
You need a little pressure. You need a little time constraint, and there just is none now.
Yeah, I'm a clutch player.
You're Eli Manning, bro. You need like that 2-minute drill, and then when you don't have it, you're just like this average fucking middle of the road quarterback.
Yeah, you want me to go take an at bat in fucking June? Pass. Don't care. Wake me up for Game 7 of the World Series. Yeah, that's when I'll step in.
But there is no Game 7. There's no World Series. There's nothing right now, so you're just going to be mediocre the whole time.
It's just on Saturdays and Sundays, and then during the week I'll be a little bitch.
See, I learned this after getting divorced, where I've explained this before. When I had an hour to myself, I loved to just sit on the couch, do nothing, jerk off, watch Netflix, because I knew that responsibility was looming, and it was going to come back at 5 o'clock, and so I had the afternoon to myself. And then when you have nothing but the afternoon to yourself, you don't have that same. It really ties into everything we've been talking about recently. When Louis C.K. was talking about, having sex as a gay guy when it was taboo. You need that extra something to make you feel like whatever you're doing is special. And even if it's nothing. If nothing is no longer special, nothing becomes unenjoyable. Nothing used to be special because you're an adult, you have a job, you have a girlfriend, you have family, and in my case, kids and responsibility. So nothing is this, oh my God, I can't wait. Now,
variety isn't the spice of life. Variety isn't the spice of life. Procrastination is. Or variety isn't the spice of life. Avoidance is.
Avoiding responsibilities is the spice of life.
That's a really fucking. That's that extra little dash that really makes a TV show great.
That's Salt Bay, just sprinkling a little fucking on there.
We talked about how you're so lucky to have a special come out or a new show to drop during quarantine. But I think more people will watch it. I think less people will enjoy it because there's not that little extra to it.
Yeah,
so
I mean, you're still lucky because numbers are numbers, ratings are ratings, viewers are viewers, and you're going to get that number. But I mean, I'm the type, if me and you watch a show together, more so with a chick. If I'm with a girlfriend or a girl, we're watching a show, it's like a date situation sort of thing. I'm really watching. But if me and you were to sit down right now and watch a show too, I'd put my phone down and I'd be like, we're watching a show, we're watching a movie. When I'm all by myself and there's just no reason for me to be polite or engaged, I'm just constantly on my phone or let me open up the blog. And I realized I'm like, I haven't. I liked Ozark a lot. I really did. So that captivated me. Other than that, I've tried to start series that I missed, seasons that I never saw, shows that have been recommended. And I'm just like, I need somebody to keep me accountable. I need someone else to be in the room so that I don't feel like, all right, I got to be polite to that person. If I don't feel that, I'm going to be on my phone. I'm not going to pay attention, and I'm not actually going to watch anything. The overwhelming irony of I'm not watching TV in quarantine is fucking crazy.
It's nuts because luckily I have that with Chaps. Chaps has asked me to start the West Wing. So I've been watching West Wing, and he's kind of keeping me accountable. He's actually keeping me too accountable. He's texting me like every day, like, you enjoying West Wing?
Even that. I mean, I guess you could do that over the phone, but I feel like I need someone in the fucking room to be like, we're watching this, Otherwise, I'm always going to be on my phone.
Yeah, the complimentary viewer is a necessity. The complimentary viewer, important. The avoidance, important. The show, that's third.
Right, it really is. The setting's got to be right, and it's Alone Together is like, that's why Alone Together is so good. And right now there's no together. You're just alone, and you got no reason to be excited about being alone. You got no reason to be excited about doing nothing. You got no reason to be excited about the show because there's no one to, hey, did you see that? Or like, oh my God, react, talk about it. So it's kind of too much of nothing.
It's too much nothing. And guess what? That weighs on Frank. I had a buddy call me today. I'm like, what are you up to? And I talked to him over the weekend. So I talked to him 3 days ago. He's like, I'm driving in circles. That was literally what he was doing. He was driving in circles.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, haha. So what else is up? He's like, dude, I just told you.
Nothing. That's it. And what are you going to be doing tomorrow? Driving circles. I
think we're going to start inventing stories like they had to do in
storytelling.
Like in the old times, like you tell a tale. Most of the stories we're telling modern times are just things that happened in our lives. Before they had to get creative as a bitch and just fucking tell stories.
You're almost you're like, gather around, children. And then there was a princess and she had an evil mother, and
I worry that all the stories have been told because princesses with an evil mother is pretty tapped out. I think we have to find a new one there. Yeah. But there's just nothing to talk about. There's nothing to say.
By the way, how fucking awesome has it got to feel like if you're in Disney or Pixar, or just a movie writer or whatever, Parasite writer, you just like nail a story like that the world like universally agrees like what a great fucking tale that is. That's incredible.
Oh, speaking of tales, this is a weird segue, but whatever. I just blogged it. Rob Gronkowski is such a goddamn legend. Did you see that story?
Mm-mm.
So it's like it's been 10 years since he was drafted. He was drafted in 2009, I think, whatever it was. And it's the oral history with a lot of the Patriots scouting guys and stuff like that.
Right.
And it's talking about how they were nervous drafting him because he's Rob Gronkowski. And there were two stories that were so fucking perfectly Gronk. One was the I forget what scout it was, but sitting down with him, and he said, it was my job to get to know him, and I'm taking notes, and I've been telling Bill, this guy's great. This guy's great. We got to get him. And I asked him what he likes to do besides football. And most guys have books they read, or movies they watch, or video games they play. And Gronk said, I like to watch cartoons. And he said, what cartoon do you like to watch? And he went, SpongeBob. And he just started laughing. And the scout was like, I'm sitting there thinking, dude, you got to help me. You got to help me out.
Give me something. Yeah.
Every day. I can't go back and tell him what you like to do besides play football is watch SpongeBob SquarePants. But then the other one was, it was a pre-draft interview. So like, this is the big meeting, right? He comes to Patriot Place, comes to Foxborough. He's got a $1,500 suit that Drew Rosenhaus bought him. And he's waiting in Nancy Meyer's waiting room, who's like the head of scouting. And she's been there for 44 years. And they come out to get him for the interview. Gronk is asleep. Gronk is not asleep. He's not asleep in his chair, Kevin. He laid down, took his suit and jacket off, folded it up into a pillow, and was just taking a nap in the waiting room on the floor. Like he didn't doze off. Okay.
It's like, I'm going to bed.
He made a conscious decision. I'm going to bed at one Patriot Place. Robert Kraft might walk by. Bill Belichick might walk by. Tom Brady might walk by. Doesn't matter. I need nappy nap.
That's particularly out there, and it's even crazier to do. As a prospective professional athlete. But there's something about remember jet ski went to sleep at Barstool, and like you when you're a younger kid at that age, I think you're still your brain is still developing. I think you're still an absolute fucking idiot.
Oh, I see. I went back and forth because first of all, it is absolutely insane. It's idiocracy embodied, right?
Yeah.
Because especially with the New England Patriots, there's one thing to do
right.
at the Cleveland Browns.
Right.
This is by the way, quick tangent. Did you see my stat that I told Coley today that the Patriots could go 0-144, and the Browns could go 144-0, and then at the start of the 2028 season, they would have the same franchise winning percentage.
Oh my
that is grotesque.
Oh my god! I literally just gagged for a second. Oh my fuck!
144-0 versus 0-144, and at the end of it, same
tied. Holy shit!
But like interviewing with the Patriots, that's like interviewing at Apple. That's like interviewing at Google. That's you better be on your P's and Q's. Yeah, on airs, all that shit. And he was still like, "Look, I'm Gronk. I'll be fine. Don't worry."
In a weird way, I can see Bill liking that.
I respect.
It's one of those urban legends. I'm going to put in my interview empty, or my essay is going to be blank or whatever. Yeah. And then I went to sleep because I do what I do. Like I catch footballs and I fucking watch SpongeBob and I nap. Do you want in or not? It's like, okay, all right, fuck yeah.
How much must that like I'm jealous of that. I resent that where it's like I would kill to have that level of A, talent, or B, self-confidence where it's just like there are so many guys in the NFL who have to grind and like be 100% at best at all times just to get a shot. And Gronk, dude,
But I don't even know if I don't think Gronk had a thought process of like, shouldn't do this, but I'm good enough, so I'm gonna. I think he was I think at that age, I don't think jet ski was thinking like I could pull this off. I think he was just like, well, when you're hungry, you eat. And when you're tired, you sleep. So I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed right now. What's the big deal? And it's like just things like that you look back on. I mean, I didn't get caught, but one time I was working on a summer job. I was working as like an engineer's assistant, and like we were basically just like painting and mopping this building. But I went up into this like engine room, and I laid on the floor and went to sleep. I used it was like, you know when you get a box and you don't have packing peanuts, but you have like a bag of air?
Yeah.
I used that as my pillow. I went to fucking sleep, and then guys who I worked for came in the room to like get measurements off of these like big machines that they were, like this is operating at like 1,000 watts per minute, whatever. And I was like around the corner sleeping, and I woke up hearing them come in, and I popped around the corner being like, "Oh, what's up, guys? They just sent me up here to like clean up. What are you guys doing up here?" And they were like, they knew something was up, but I just tried to cut it off before they could find me. And it was just like, yeah, I mean, you sleep on the job sometime. Wait, what? Why? No, you fucking moron. And then so I start to think, what are the things I'm doing now that I'm going to look back on and be like, can you believe when you were 35, you used to do what, Or is there a part where you plateau? Like you get to like, we're smart now.
I think, well, we're not smart enough. I think we've plateaued with things that are out of the question.
Yeah.
Maybe like sometimes, I don't know, like sometimes we'll do a late night podcast and you do a little buzzed. So maybe drunk podcasting. But I mean, I feel like that's different.
Yeah. It's different than like complete disregard for social norms that you like have when you're like 20 or whatever.
Dude, when we were 20, we built a nap nook. We were building a house. We just built a nap nook and then took it down when we were done. Nap
nook is such a fucking great term.
Like we just like it was just like you put up the little ladder, you crawled up there, and you nap. It was like, don't worry, this is free of charge to the fucking homeowners.
We got this, don't worry.
This one's on us.
And what you learn though is that when you're that age and growing up, that everyone's an asshole. And so time to get into our Thursday, Am I the Asshole? It's brought to you by Tommy John. It's a Tommy John Thursday here. Now, some of the pros of quarantine are, you got to look at the bright side of nothing, is that you're not stressed and there's no deadlines. And also you get to be eternally comfortable at all times. Now, Tommy John's been doing this forever, pre-quarantine, and they'll be doing it after. The Tommy John comfort is unparalleled, next to none. And if you're not wearing Tommy John's in the quarantine to be as comfortable as you can be at all times, you are not maximizing your quarantine life. If you're going to be wearing the robe and the loungewear and your Barstool indoors gear, you might as well be rocking the Tommy Johns with it. It's revolutionary loungewear and underwear that's redefining comfort. And right now you can get 25% off your order. Tommy John, the underwear is the softest, most breathable. It's got the quick draw fly. You just reach in and out to grab your dick. The waistband is soft and tight, doesn't roll down on you. They've got the micro-modal T-shirts, so you can wear, it's like a good in-between. You can wear it out if you need to. Indoors, certainly. Undershirt, great. And now they also got the women's as well. They have eliminated the visible panty line for women, the VPL. And so they have calculated, by the way, that the quick draw fly has saved men 217 minutes per year.
Whoa.
Yeah. The amount of time you spend, snaking your dick out of the hole when it's got the crossover thing, the amount of times you do that, if you can just go and pull it out, 217 minutes. That's enough time to watch the Avengers movie.
Because that's a lot of time to avoid doing other things during regular time.
But not anymore. You could save 2,000 minutes and it doesn't fucking matter. But as long as you're comfortable, that's the most important thing. I got the best pair you'll ever wear, or it's free guarantee from Tommy John. Go to TommyJohn.com/KFC for 25% off your full order. That's TommyJohn.com/KFC. Today's Am I the Asshole? We got a couple fucking doozies for you. And I'm going to start here with this one. Maria tweeted us a couple days ago and said she'd love to hear our thoughts on this relationship. So this right here, this is like a Am I the Asshole / borderline like murder mystery story, because there's some serious red flags here. It's a little bit long. Buckle up, though. Story time. Okay. It was 4 years ago that I met my girlfriend. I was in university. I joined a dating site. Important, remember that. And we ended up chatting, really clicking, and then dating. A year ago, we moved in together. Throughout our relationship, we've always been very different people, with her being much more confident and extroverted than me. However, I've always been much more emotionally open than her. She's never been one to talk about herself. She's very chatty and easy to talk to, but she avoids any personal topics, especially anything from her personal life and her past. Okay. Now, she's always been great fun, and I quickly learned just not to ask questions about her family or her past at risk of upsetting her. The few minor tidbits I gather she had abusive parents, and she's totally cut off from them. For all he knows, they might be dead. Point is, he knows not to ask about the family. For me, there's nothing in my life I wouldn't share with my partner. I totally respect, though, that she doesn't have the same openness because of past experiences. Nonetheless, there's been some things that have always bothered me. Firstly, she was always eager to meet my friends, but she never wanted me to meet hers. After about a year of us dating, I even joked that I don't think I could come up with a name of a single friend of hers. But her reaction told me to drop it, so I did. To date, I could still not tell you a single thing about any of her friends. To clarify, she does, and this is where it gets even worse. To clarify, she does spend as much time with her friends as I do with mine, and has done for our entire relationship, but I've never met them. She's never talked about them other than saying things like, we're going out for a few drinks tonight. I was out with the girls. She's also never had social media. She has a laptop with an email, but she says she hates social media sites. And she doesn't even have a cell phone. She makes calls from our landline, but maintains that she hates technology and that, quote, it's not a real way to talk to people. It's not a view I share. It's kind of inconvenient, but I always respected it. Lately, things have been getting a little weird. This past year, I've been considering proposing, but all these things have weighed on my mind. My friends have mentioned a few times how weird it is that I've told them I've never met her friends, since she regularly spends time with them. What's more, we have discussed wedding plans quite a few times. She says she wants a very small wedding, just family, doesn't want to be a large affair. And whenever she talks about guests, she only lists his friends. Another issue has developed since we've moved in that's kind of creepy. I've answered the landline quite a few times, and people say nothing. I say hello a few times before they hang up, and then they usually call back a minute later. If I answer again, it's the same lack of response, and then there's no more calls. But if she's around and she answers, she starts to chat it up with her friends. I brought it up to her, and she's just brushed it aside, although it's baffling to me that she would apparently have people calling, all of whom will say nothing unless it's her speaking. The most recent time this happened was a few months ago. I put it out of mind, but then the other day I saw her handbag on the back of a chair, and there was clearly a cell phone visible. It was a shitty old phone, like one that I might have had 10 years ago, not a smartphone, but it's still a cell phone. Obviously, I want to respect her privacy. I don't want to push her to talk to things about she's not comfortable with, but these multiple things all seem wrong. Why have I never met her friends or family? Why do I get weird phone calls? And now the curiosity is driving me crazy. So this is like the beginning of a fucking movie plot, let alone a am I the asshole girlfriend situation.
The people who come on these fucking apps and ask these fucking questions are insane people. And it's always like right before the wedding. They always like,
yeah, I know.
We've been planning the wedding. But anyway, she speaks Russian in her sleep and she fucking slaughters goats in the basement. and fucking hoop sandwiches and eats those. Are these red flags I'm missing?
Should I be worried?
That's a red flag. There's a lot. Dude, people, I haven't seen that since like whatever the last spy movie I watched was, where just someone doesn't speak and you hear them breathe on the other line and they hang up. That's spy shit 101. This
right.
chick is fucking salt. She's Angelina Jolie.
100%.
This is awesome. I was in once, like, look, realistically, out on this entire relationship, but for the first half, I was fucking in.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, you know what? So again, to kind of go back to guys and girls dynamics, like if I bring something up to a chick I'm dating and she's like, bro, drop it. I don't want to talk about it. I'd be like, okay, you scare me a little bit. You're the boss, whatever. And that would be that. So we just don't talk about your friends or family at all. The opposite, it would never fly. You'd have to figure it out and talk about it, and there would be demands because girls are not like, they would be like, no, this is fucking weird and we need to figure this out. But yeah, I would be totally down with just like, as a matter of fact, sounds ideal.
There, like anything, there are some parts that are great, some parts that aren't.
But I mean, if it was just if I had a girlfriend who consistently went out with her girlfriends, left me alone, like it sucks if your girlfriend doesn't have any friends, and then she becomes like part of your friends, and then it's like you just lose all of your independent life to her. But if it's like, yeah, she goes out with her friends, and then also she doesn't bother me with stories about them. Like, can you believe what Amanda did? That sounds ideal. Sure, a little bit weird, but okay, I can work with that. I don't have a cell phone, and then you find the cell phone. That's not good.
Well, that's obviously that's a relationship.
That's a crazy like lie that you just cannot have.
But I respect a person who's like, that's not how you communicate with people. Kevin, I recently watched a documentary about whiskey. I only communicate with people over whiskey now. It's the only way it's done. Okay, there was
whiskey and podcast
multiple times during this documentary. But also another way, speaking about communicating with people, I read bits and pieces of a Kanye West, who I'm #done with, expose in GQ today.
You know that Feidelberg is a sucker for a good expose on GQ.
I am, but I stopped. It was too much.
So you had said to me, we got a new GQ article on Kanye. It's going to be a real test for my #done status. Did it reinforce your #done?
Yeah, he's starting a cult, and it's not even a glorified cult. It's a straight up cult, and he bought. That's what all his land in Wyoming is for, is to test. He's experimenting with instead of medications, it's sunlight and happiness.
Oh God! I always hated the guy. I didn't think it could get any worse. Now I really fucking can't stand him.
The Easy Fix line is serviceware and service to the Lord. It's all. I will give him this: the church they're building on this cult campus is pretty fucking sick.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, but
it's all like in the ground. It's just like there's a hole in the ceiling, so sunlight beams in. It's pretty fucking dope. But he said that the author, I forget who it was, but he said, to start the interview, he's like, can I start my recorder? And Kanye said that words are the base level of human communication.
Right.
He's taken to beeping at his friends. Beep, beep. Beep, 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 beep.
Did you give an example? Is that what we're talking about? He's just literally.
I know there were no examples. It was just.
I fucking hate this man so goddamn much. I think that, I've been #done forever. You're now #done. I think a lot of people are going to start to join up. At what point, and you admitted this too, you admitted that his music's been mediocre recently, right?
Yes.
So at what point does he need to, and at what level does that album need to be a banger? Like, he's got to put out a really good album if he really wants to keep the people like us. He'll have his cult, but if he wants to keep the fringe people, he's got to make a good song too.
No, I'd be surprised if he does it again.
If he makes any music again?
I would be pretty surprised, it seems like. I think it would take another, as this article explained, it was like the car accident was one pivotal moment of his life, and then his mental hospital stay was another. And since then, it's been very. I think there would need to be another pivotal woe moment of his life for him to kind of. I don't know. Maybe he'll make more religious music and service music and Sunday.
Yeah.
But I do not. From what I gathered, I would be surprised to see Kanye West just rapping.
You think he's he doesn't need to? You think he'll, like, the fans he has will just be his fans for life now, even if he doesn't make music?
I think he'll get new ones because all the religious bullshit, all the religious bullshit, all the Trump bullshit. I think he'll get new fucking lunatics. I think he's probably breaking into a different market than he's ever broken into.
And maybe he's gonna run for president one day.
God, I hope not. But anyway, back to these people.
So how about this? So the phone rings. If she picks up, they talk. What if She is dialing the landline from her phone
Why would you do that?
to give the illusion. So she dials and picks up and can, hi, Stacy, how you doing? Da, 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 da. I've got friends. She's just talking to nobody.
Oh, I like that.
So she just needs the phone to ring. By the way, this whole couple's kind of weird. I know some people have landlines, but like very few.
Dude, I mean, I technically have one. I don't have a landline, but I have.
Yeah, they make you do that, right?
Yeah.
But
So annoying how it pops up on TV. Like, I don't have a phone. Where it's like you gotta call from.
yeah. It's like, no, I fucking don't. Stop it.
Yeah.
How about this though? Met on a dating site. This girl who doesn't even have a cell phone meets on a dating site.
What's that, like J-Date shit?
I don't know. I mean,
you can go on the old school dating sites, or you can still have a website.
Yeah, like maybe you can access it from a computer.
I think dating site now means like Tinder or Bumble.
Yeah, like an app. Usually it's a dating app, not a site.
Harmony.
Yeah. But if you also are you the type to like, she's like, I don't talk to people. That's not a way to communicate. But also, I'm gonna find my love through the internet.
Yeah, she's gonna kill him, dude. Well, no, I think she's gonna kill him. She's already killed him.
No, I don't think she's gonna kill him. I think she's killing other people. I think this is her cover. She has an American like life. Her name is like Jessica, and for real, her name is like Natalia, and she's a Russian murderer. They lost him, folks. He's gone. What if John just got murdered? What if John, in general, got murdered? What if I get the call next week? Hi, Kevin. It's Benny. John's been murdered. What next? What would I do? I'd probably, like, knowing him, like Good Will Hunting, I would just be like, okay, what's next? Be like, Nick, let's do Am I the Asshole? Like, I feel like he just wouldn't want me to cry. He wouldn't want me to be sad. He wouldn't want me to replace him.
This would just become a true crime podcast, and we'd have to figure out who killed John.
But I also would be like, I'd give it like a day of work. It'd be like, if there wasn't a super obvious lead, like we have a fingerprint, let's go chase that guy. I'd be like, I don't know, I give up.
He'd just be in his garage, still sitting there. Like, oh no, I would stop answering all texts and calls.
Yeah, that's the thing. If John is ever allegedly murdered, he's not murdered. He just disappeared. He just went. He finally snapped and just said, fuck it, I'm gone.
He lost his phone, realized I could just not get a new one.
Right.
And just went.
Gone. Yeah. Yeah.
There he is. Yep.
On today of all days.
I was going through what I would do if you got murdered.
If I got murdered?
Yeah. And I think, what would you want me to do?
Nothing.
That's what I said. I said like you wouldn't want me to cry over it. You wouldn't want to be replaced either, though. And that I said if there was a very obvious lead, if it was like we found fingerprints and this is the guy, I would like put in an effort to like help the cause. But otherwise, if there was like a cold case, I would just be like, we're just done here.
Yeah, no, there's nothing to do. What would you do? No, Kevin, you start trying to solve my murder. Guess what? You're dead.
Murdered. Yeah, big time.
I'd rather you not get murdered. So.
But I also feel like with our internet platform and shit, like we could. It would be a true. I would be. This would become a true crime pod, and I would be like, I would go to the top.
Okay, yeah, that I would want you to do. I'd want you to have success.
Exploit you. Yeah. Oh no. You're breaking
in the room so he can hear this. Is my living will family approved breaking up again?
You're good now. You're back. It was like, when it does that thing where it breaks up and then it goes and it catches up?
Yeah. Yeah. So this is a living will, family approved. Definitely exploit my death or murder for personal gain all you want.
I appreciate the approval, but I was going to do that anyway. Yeah. Did you see that guy, by the way? My mind is always spinning now with basically like murder plots and shit like that, like bad, like horrible movie plots. The guy who murdered his wife and tried to play it off as coronavirus.
I saw like the tweet. I did not explore it further.
He was like, so he murdered her and then put her on her deathbed for the coronavirus. I don't know how he murdered her because eventually there was going to be like a body that you'd have to look at. So it couldn't have been like, he must have like poisoned her or something. But he was texting from her phone, trying to keep up the ruse, being like, oh my God, I'm so sick. But like, he's such a dummy. He was using like his vocabulary. Like people could tell that like it wasn't her texting. It would be like, if all of a sudden I'm pretending to be you and I'm saying like for sure not and shit like that. They're like, that's Jim. That's not fucking that's not her talking, you moron. But I bet you there's a lot of people trying to use coronavirus in this way. Like I always thought about whenever there's a mass death situation, I almost wrote a story once when I was a kid, when I was like in college, about 9/11. If you wanted to disappear and you like worked in Manhattan, if you worked in Lower Manhattan, I'd take my wallet, throw it in the rubble, disappear, gone.
Nobody would fucking question you.
I don't think you had to do that.
Yeah, you could just be like,
I think you could just disappear. You could take your wallet with you.
Right. You don't need to, or maybe I'd like pop out a single tooth and just drop it on top of the rubble. Anything to confirm, because then at least it'd be like confirmation. You could just disappear. But if there was any like, all right, yeah, we found his remains, chop off a pinky maybe, and just peace. If you had, I almost wrote about a gambling debt. I almost wrote about a guy who was like trapped in a bad marriage. There's a guy wanted to come out and just needed a new life. Boom, use 9/11. Coronavirus is a little more difficult because there's still bodies to be like, you weren't just boom, like gone. But there's some, you want to get creative right now. You could use coronavirus to your advantage.
Do you think they were? Like that's some Charlie Kelly thinking. Like I'm gonna throw a tooth. You think they were testing every tooth? You're like, all right, we don't have any other part of this guy, but here's Gay Bob's tooth.
There were cases of like very little remains being found, but being
were
found.
There?
Yeah.
You know better than I do. I just kind of figured at some point they were just like, we don't even know what to do.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot. There was a lot of people buried with like no confirmation, but there were remains that were found, and all it takes a little shred of DNA. You got a new life, brother. See you in Mexico. Anyway, okay. So we think that this girl, because I think if you're an assassin, you probably don't have friends. But I do like the idea of she's calling from the cell phone to make it look like she has friends to keep up the ruse, even though she's just a lone wolf out here assassinating people.
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there. She just like that's one of those like you find a burner phone, it's only got one number in it. It's the house number.
Yeah.
Right? She's got 400 calls to this one number.
Yeah. It's stored as like home or just stored as something, and like the guy presses the button and then he hears it ring and he's like, oh no. Yeah. Oh, what a great moment. Everyone's the asshole here, and it's gonna be a great movie. But I think ultimately he's the asshole because like she's just an assassin. This is what like she does. You're the asshole for getting duped by all this for like years on end.
Don't even get me started on this guy. The asshole. What were the responses?
Actually, to be honest, this is one of those like Reddit relationship ones where it's not. Those always kind of blend over. It's just like here's a story about two assholes, and they're not asking which one it is. This was a screenshot though, so I didn't actually see. But a lot of people on the actual Reddit page, he was replying with a lot of people, like talking them through it. Because he said, like, when he gave more details, it sounded a little bit more normal. He didn't sound as idiotic, but he was like, "Yeah, okay, you guys convinced me. These are some red flags. I'm gonna like have to talk to her about this or get the hell out of there." But like, I could just see this girl getting calls from like Mother Russia, being like, "Natalia, how was your operation?" And she's like, "This guy, he still fucking believes the cover. Can you believe it?" But yeah, you are a real asshole if you. As a guy who likes to avoid confrontation, you're an asshole if you let the confrontation slide this much. You have no friends and family. I can't ask you a single question. Don't ask me about my fake cell phone. Eventually, you're just a little bitch. You have the second one?
Yeah, I got you here. Am I the asshole for pissing in a large Gatorade bottle in front of my boyfriend and his friends because he wouldn't pull over? So this all happened before the world went to hell in a handbag. But since he keeps bringing it up and saying I was the asshole, I'm wondering if maybe I was wrong here.
So we're on a 4-hour road trip from California to Las Vegas. And admittedly, I have a tiny bladder. I also have what's called spina bifida occulta, which causes issues with my bladder. Basically, my bladder doesn't tell my brain when I have to go until I really have to go. I might have this. Like, on the verge of pissing my pants. I say it all the time. Every time I go to the bathroom, it's a fucking emergency. I could write a whole post on how I used to be punished as a kid for wetting myself. Well, no, okay. Maybe I'm off. For wetting myself in my bed because no one bothered to find out until I was 15 years old. So suffice it to say, it's an embarrassing thing for me. It triggers a lot of bad memories. But I've done things since my diagnosis to improve, such as Kegels. But even those, sometimes I don't know until it's an emergency. I do, however, try to negate this by making frequent trips to the bathroom. Well, you just going in there and checking? Just sitting on the toilet being like, no piss falls out here.
This is the Tommy Smokes right here. Tommy Smokes goes to the bathroom like 15 times a day.
Yeah, they say it takes at least 3 or 4 trips per flight. That's insane.
Insane. Like on like a 3.5 hour flight, they'll go multiple times.
Now my boyfriend knows all about my diagnosis and he knows how it affects me. But apparently knowing about it and understanding it are two different things. During our trip, I kept asking him to make a stop because even though I didn't she's wrong. Because even though I didn't feel like I needed to go, it's better to safe than sorry. She's a terrible writer. This is one thing you learn going through things. Like, I always just thought everyone's a good writer because you only read good writers. The only people who get published and get into magazines and newspapers are people who can write.
Basically, like the collective human idiot can write a tweet. And if it's anything longer than that, it's a fucking catastrophe.
Absolute disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but even though I didn't feel I needed to go get, it's better safe than sorry. What? He kept saying no because we were making good time. Such a dad fucking move.
Yeah.
Like, what are you dating, a 60-year-old? We're making good time. No time to stop. Like, gives a fuck what kind of time we're making. I gotta take a piss. Pull over, dude.
Like, I don't want to make it there with 20 minutes to spare with a pants full of piss.
He said when I really feel the urge, he would stop. Well, after an hour of the waiting game and me begging him to stop, the urge finally hit me, and I was at the point I needed to go now. But we're in the middle of nowhere, and he didn't want to just pull over on the side of the road. I told him by the pull over, I'm going to go in the car. Well, I guess he didn't think I was serious because he didn't. So I emptied, put the Gatorade bottle I had, and said, "Fuck it, I'm going now. If you pers want to watch, go ahead. I don't care." I shimmied my pants out and peed into the bottle whilst he and his friends looked on, commenting on how nasty and unclean I was being. I keep baby wipes in the car, so I did wipe with those. I also didn't spill any. We finally pulled over, and I threw away the bottle, went to the bathroom to wash my hands, even though I'd already used baby wipes on them. But then I came out, they started laying me, saying I had exposed myself to his friends, and they had seen something only he should. Considering the angle I was at, there was no way they saw anything other than the top area. I told him it was his fault, and he was the asshole. If he had just pulled over, I wouldn't have to resort to peeing in the car. I mean, what do you want me to do? Hang my ass out the window or pee myself? So Reddit, for once, am I the asshole?
I mean, it's tough because, like, I do think that's a deal breaker. I don't think this relationship can survive with everybody. Like, if it went down the way it went down and everyone was like, "Oh my God, you're gross. You're pissing in the car. Hey, Tommy, your girlfriend's fucking disgusting." And he's just sitting there like, "Oh my God." I don't know if there's any coming back from that, but it's 100% their fault for making that happen. The girl was like, "I have to." Like, what would be better, her doing that or them being like, "Oh my God, Tommy, your girlfriend's pissing in her pants in the car." The pee was coming one way or the other.
Dude, the people who like I actually am. I hold it if I'm on a road trip and I'm not driving. I do hold it until it's basically an emergency because I don't want to be an inconvenience.
Right.
So I'm not like. So when I ask, "Hey, I gotta go to the bathroom," it's not a suggestion.
Yeah, we're
it's
doing
get
it.
the fuck off the road. I'm going.
Right.
Hit you with the, "Oh, you sure? Can you hold it?" No, I can't hold it. I'm asking to go to the fucking bathroom. I'm not in 3rd grade anymore. I don't need permission. Pull the car over so I can take a goddamn fucking piss.
Correct. Now, I do get the impression, and it's kind of what you just said about the dad thing. I think when dads are saying they make good time, it's ridiculous, but it's also that you got to remember when you're a dad, and let's say you've got like a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old, that means you've been doing a decade. Like, I've been doing it for a few years, and it's starting to weigh on me. When you've been doing it a decade of like, "Hey, honey, do you have to go to the bathroom?" "No." "Okay, let's go into the movie theater." And as soon as you sit down, I have to go to the bathroom, Dad. It's like, oh, motherfucker. So when you're like in the car and they keep asking and they don't plan it out and you've been doing that forever, like if this girl really has to go to the bathroom as much as she does, he's probably getting fed up with it. And what I've learned by watching all of the old couples I know in my life, people, my parents and family members who have been married for like 40 years, there are things that the other person cannot help, and it doesn't matter. You still hold it against them and you hate them for it. Like my dad has bad hearing. He cannot hear. It's not his fault. It doesn't matter. Like he's not going to be able to hear you. He would prefer to be able to hear you, I swear to God, but he can't. And my mom will just fucking eviscerate him for it. And it's like, I know he can't help it, but it bothers me too. So I fucking yell at him about it. So I think this guy knows. By the way, there's a theory in my house that my dad has been pretending to not be able to hear things for like decades, which is awesome. He's just like, what? I can't hear you. I just don't want to fucking talk to you assholes. I think he knows this girl has a problem. And I think it probably just still bothers him to the point that he's like, we can't stop again. I don't fucking care. And he played chicken and he lost. I mean, plain and simple.
What about the ability of this girl? Like we've discussed.
I know. So that's the whole second half.
Probably too much for two guys to talk about it. But it's impressive as hell.
Have you ever seen
a Gatorade bottle?
Have you ever seen that thing that like I saw it on BuzzFeed like a decade ago? It was like 4 girls to pee out in the wild, and it looks like it almost looks like a shoehorn, and you like put it there, and it basically turns you have a dick to hold. Like you need those things to try to pee outdoors or into something. For her to just, I at least hope it was one of those 32-ounce like wide mouth Gatorades. But boy, that is in a moving car too. I mean, any bumps or turns or anything, you're in trouble. Yeah, that thing. What's it called? They just called a girl. Yeah, look at that. It says 4 traffic jam long trips. The stand-up pee for girls. There you go. That thing is disgusting.
It's a go girl. I mean, I don't even know if I could pee into a Gatorade bottle. Like it's hard for me to basically bang it and then you just pee. It gets hard too. With a guy, it's hard because you fucking start having to slowly pull it out because otherwise you're gonna drown your dick. like otherwise you're just gonna take out a dick that's just covered in piss. So you're like slowly trying to angle it here. So you're like just kind of like slowly pulling it.
Yeah. It's almost like when a waiter at a fancy restaurant pours and he can pull the pitcher all the way up. That's what you got to do with your dick.
Yeah, but pop it in there and it's like slowly extract, almost like a needle. Like you're pulling it out. Like I'm pulling a needle.
Yes.
That's where it gets, or even better, like Nicolas Cage with the VX gas. We're like, oh, right. Guess what? If this shit falls out, we got a problem on our hands.
So what final answer I feel like for me is he's the asshole. She had to cross a line that you really can't uncross. And I think that this relationship is ruined. And it's not her fault. But
I think if it's ruined, I think he's even more the asshole. Like, if my girlfriend had to piss, if like, look, we're stuck in traffic and I just can't get off the road and she has to piss in front of my friends, like, I'll get over it. It's it's not like she's back there fucking masturbating. She's pissing.
Right. By the way, this reminds me.
He has to do.
When I was in, maybe I was in like 9th grade, and there was a kid in 8th grade or 7th grade, and he was like a little bit off, but it was early enough that the mental health stuff really hadn't been on the radar yet. Anyway, this kid was raising his hand in science class. He was like, "Can I go to the bathroom?" And the teacher was being one of those assholes, like, "No, like go on your own time. Like you went before. You should have thought about this." But and the kid like asked again, and he denied him again. Kid fucking ended up pissing his pants in the middle of the classroom, and that teacher was like, "Oh fuck! Like what have I done?"
How crazy is it that we spent most of our lives having to ask to go to the bathroom?
I know.
Like, it's like basic, just human bullshit. Like I should really get up and go, "Excuse me, I have to go to the bathroom." You mean I have to ask your permission to take a piss because you're teaching me how to make a cursive G? Yep. Fuck off. Okay, this me not pissing my pants in front of all of my classmates is going to be a much bigger influence on my entire life than knowing how to make a cursive G. Because guess what? No one knows how to make a fucking cursive G. We all just make a big squiggly circle. That's it. That's not important. Me having the fucking self-confidence that would be ripped away from me.
That's
if I piss my pants in the middle of class. That's what's important to me.
All right, last Am I the Asshole? Then we'll get into our voicemails and then our interview. This is probably the most ridiculous relationship story we have done since starting Am I the Asshole Thursdays. I don't even know what to say about this one, but buckle up. Okay. With all that's going on, me and my girlfriend stocked up on supplies, including some canned goods. I ordered a few weeks ago 30 cans of beans, 10 black, 10 kidney, 10 pink beans. I also ordered 15 cans of chickpeas. I thought that this is a reasonable amount of beans and chickpeas to have every now and then for quite some time. However, earlier this week, I opened up the cabinet because I wanted to make some chili, and only all of the beans were gone. I asked my girlfriend, and she told me she buried all of the beans in the woods. At first, I thought she was joking, but she explained, no, she had buried the beans in the woods. I asked her to explain, and she told me she was afraid of, quote, if things get bad, we might have to worry about, quote, looters or whatever, and that the beans would be in danger of being stolen. I said I thought this was completely ridiculous and unlikely. She became angry, and she said that she is, quote, protecting our beans. According to her logic, the beans are safely buried in the woods behind our apartment complex. And if we ever need some beans, she will go to the stash and dig up a can or two, but she would prefer if we save them for if things got worse. I said, why only bury the beans? Why not bury our more valuable items? She said the canned food was the most valuable for long-term means, and that since we get fresh food in our grocery deliveries, it would make sense to stockpile the beans. She intends to go bury more of them every week. This was too insane for me, and I got very upset. I demanded to know where the beans were buried, and she refused to tell me. She said if I knew, she was afraid I would dig them up. I said, damn right I would. She said she will never jeopardize the beans. The following day, I tried to put my foot down, and I'm not usually a foot downer, but there are rare issues where compromise is out of the question, and I foolishly decided this was one of the issues. I demanded to know where the beans were buried, and I told her if she was going to bury beans I paid for in the woods, that I would move out. We fought, and I kept insisting. In hindsight, I should have just let it go and created my own hidden stash of beans in the apartment. I've given her time to maybe cool down about the beans buying scenario, but I blew it all out of proportion. Yeah, it's weird to bury beans in the woods, but why did I have to press it? What's the harm at the end of the day in the grand scheme of things? But I kept demanding to take the beans, and finally she broke up with me. I've lost the love of my life because I couldn't let the damn beans go. I'm in disbelief. She moved out. Not only am I heartbroken, but now I'm paying 50%. Now I'm paying full rent instead of 50%. I mean,
I get it. I get it. I get it.
From whose point of view? All of them? Everybody?
I get it from hers. Yeah, man. Sometimes you never know. I look. It's a little crazy, sure, but here's the thing. I would like hide the beans, and then once you put a foot down on me, then those beans become magical beans, and you're never. You want to threaten me about beans? You'll never see those beans again in your life. Then.
I was thinking that. I'm like, are these some sort of special fucking beanstalk beans? And then you start to realize that it's, I would love to sit down with this couple and do like a couples therapy session, because you learn that the beans are something else, and that there's other things that she wants to keep for herself that he often uses, and like it's not about the kidney beans, it's about the dynamic of the relationship. This runs so much deeper. But I would also say that this is one of those relationships where it's going to be a good breakup. Like, if you're going to break up over the beans, you probably shouldn't be together in the first place.
I don't think. Look, I guess the beans are a symbol or something like that. Whatever bullshit a therapist would say. But like, I have things I'd hide.
Like what?
That aren't a symbol.
Like what?
I don't know. Like Reese's Puffs. Like, I told you I live simple. Would you think I was going to say something valuable? No, I want my cereal. there's just like I get it. I just get it. I get you wanting to be like, this is this. You don't know how to save us, and you wouldn't know what to do if we were up a creek without a paddle.
Right.
I'm preparing for that, and I have to take care of us. So I'm putting this money in this account, or I'm putting these beans in this backyard. She's doing the same thing, and I respect that because guess what? I'd probably just eat those beans and then go hungry. In fact, where's this girl at? Tell her to come over to my house. She's gonna set us up. She's gonna, dude. I was thinking about that with stuff where it's like just like things you had to say. Things really went off, and it seems like we're doing well. It seems like things are gonna get better, in due time. But like say things like I would not be prepared. There was something from the Surgeon General that was like, well, one thing to do is avoid alcohol. I was like, well, fuck off. How about that? There's like, I actually always thought too, where it's like, well, if they told me that dipping, like you were gonna die imminently, it's not gonna help me. It doesn't matter. I'm not gonna stop probably. Or same thing. They're like, well, you got your liver problem. You can't drink anymore. I'd probably just keep drinking. I need someone like this in my life. I need someone like this in my life to hide the beans for me. Now that is a symbol, and it's for other things. It's for she's got to hide the beans. She's got to hide the booze. She's got to hide the dip. She got to hide the fattening foods. I need this woman in my life. I need her as my fucking manager. I need a life manager. It needs to be this chick burying shit in the backyard for me.
Find you a girl who will bury your beans. Because in the long run, you're going to be safe. Yeah, you do. And I'm sure this guy's probably the type who, like, if he gets a bonus at work, he spends it all. And she's like, hey, why don't we save for the house in the future? She's been trying to bury beans all over the place. Yeah. And meanwhile, you eat the beans because you're making vegetarian chili on a fucking Tuesday night in the middle of a pandemic when you should be saving the beans for the apocalypse.
Dude, if I met a bean barrier, who wouldn't even care that she was a Russian spy? That's fine. I just need a bean barrier to just watch over my shit.
Now, the good news is none of us have to bury any beans in the backyard because Grubhub is out here making sure that food gets delivered to us even during the most dire circumstances. We're keeping local communities alive. We're keeping businesses alive. We're keeping you alive by making sure that Grubhub delivers food to you during the pandemic. They've got contactless delivery available where you can get delivery and pickup orders sent right to your door. They're also doing special promotions that are available daily. So if you open up the Grubhub app and go to neighborhood specials, you can save money and save a restaurant, see which restaurant's being featured, see what special is available that day, and you can have that pickup or delivery order right now. Bingo, bango. They're also doing the Grubhub Community Relief Fund, where you can donate your change, your extra change, round up, and you can donate it to all the restaurants and the drivers that are being affected by COVID-19. By the by, people out here who still don't know that it's called COVID-19 because of the year 2019 and that it's not the 19th version of coronavirus, you got to be a real dumb fucking asshole to still be out here saying, we've had this 19 times. I don't get what the it's the year, you fucking idiots.
That was so perfect because like that beat or those lyrics could be played to the tune of "It's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve." Like it's COVID-19, not COVID-1. It just so fits. True. Like that's the same people are going to be saying these two things, and it's perfect.
Unreal. Anyway, back to Grubhub. For our listeners right now, you download the Grubhub app, enter the promo code KFC Radio, and you'll get $10 off any $15 or more order. So that's KFC Radio on the Grubhub app for $10 off any order of $15 or more for new diners. Save the restaurants you love. Save money. Go to Grubhub. Use the promo code KFC Radio. Voicemails. Let's get into it.
Hey, boys. So with the current quarantine and everything, been hitting those dating apps hard. And I've noticed that all the fuck girls just have Snapchat filters and all these little things to make them look better. Can we start doing that? Come on. Like, seriously, if you're going to put 90% of your photos as a filter, can't we use the same thing? Or we get hated on that? Thoughts?
That's a good point. We've been talking about how, the male revolution is coming, that we need makeup and Spanx and all these other hacks. Why not just start with the filters? That's probably the easiest one to start with.
You're right. My phone. I was like, oh, I look kind of good right now. I took a picture and then I changed it to a filter. I think it was Jakarta. I looked unbelievable. I looked unbelievable. Yeah, I
Yep.
looked so fucking hot. I was kissing my phone. I was looking at it. Right? And I was so goddamn sexy. And then guess what? I deleted it because that's not what I look like.
I know.
That's not what I look like.
I know.
I'm an honest man. They call me Honest John. They've been doing it my whole life.
Do they? Is
And
that what they do?
Yeah, they've been doing it. You know how it started? I had a friend who said he found two dead rats kissing, the skeletons, and they were still connected. And he said I was with him, right? And all my friends were like, they're like, hey, John, did that really happen? And I said, nope. That's bullshit. Made that lie up. And they knew, look, I wouldn't even lie for you on a witness stand, bitch.
And then that's when Honest John was born, huh?
That's where Honest John came from.
I'm going to ask Nick to go back through the chronicles of this show to the episodes where we both are like, oh, we lie about everything. Every time we open our mouth, we're lying.
Well, yeah, like the whole Honest John thing, for example. That's a lie. The rat story is true. Just don't want to call me Honest John.
I think that the filters have gotten subtle enough, though. You know, I'm not talking about like put the fucking big blue eyes on and this and that, but there's just some that just give you a little boost that I think
there are.
we should use those.
Look at this. This is my face. Not with a New York tone, not with a Rio tone. This is it. It's a Transylvania tone.
Yeah, this is like my HIV positive tone. This is my low white blood count tone.
This is my Chilean minor tone. He's been underground for fucking however long, eating ring dings and Tootsie Rolls
and buried beans that he found. Oh my god! I think here's the thing: if you want to do filters, that's fine, but you got to commit. Then like everything you post has to be filtered, and then people could be like, wow, like, yeah, I saw that guy in person. Like he's really photogenic. His pictures are good. But if you do it halfway, then people know you're a filter user and you're a phony. I think go filter, no filter.
What if you go all the way and it's like it's if you're just obviously this is a filter, clearly. I'm not trying to play this off.
Right. Yeah, I'm okay. I think it's like when you put up a thirst trap, being like, I think I look good here. I want to post it. If you just say, like, you know, filter of the day, yeah, people know it's filtered. But guess what? People's only impression of you when they see you on the phone is good-looking pictures. It's like, yeah, I know these girls are photoshopped. I know that they're fake tan, makeup, filters. But I still think Emily Ratajkowski's fucking sexy. That's my perception of her.
I also think we'll start doing it at some point. It's like anything. We talked about texting recently. Like we talk like emojis. Around. I still don't really use emojis.
Oh, I love emojis now.
But I'm not like, oh, pussy. If someone sends it to me, I'm not a huge emoji guy, but I find it acceptable in common culture. Right. I think maybe if we can get there, then I think we'll get there. It won't be before we beat coronavirus, but we'll get there.
You know what we should do is invent this, like subtle filters for guys. That's just like, hey, you want to look less like a vampire? Here you go. And maybe people really won't even be able to pick up on it. Hey, you got butthole eyes? Hey, you got man tits? These are like quick things that just like, you know, remember when they came out with like fixed red eye? It was just like, bam, you're done.
Yeah.
It was like, whoa.
Which also it didn't really work. The technology at the time was not great.
No, but it was more than it was like when you see Nintendo 64 graphics. It was like, oh my god. Now you look back on it as trash. If they can invent something that's as easy as that, it'd be beautiful. Next up.
Hey, KFC in DC, long-time listener, first-time caller. I'm calling because my boyfriend has had this giant Patriots tapestry hanging in our bedroom, and it's literally a picture of Julian Edelman about to make out with Tom Brady. But they're on a field, and he's holding his helmet real close to his face. But Tom Brady is on the Patriots anymore, so I'm asking him if he can take it down, and he still won't. So I'm so forced to look at it. I just see it's like disappointment every day. So am I the asshole? Let me know.
So wait a minute. This girl, it sounds like she wants this removed because she's also a diehard Patriots fan who's upset about Tom Brady, not because she wants like a tacky sports poster off her wall.
Oh, I didn't get that.
What did she say there at the end? She said something like, I had to look at this disappointment every day now.
I took that as his disappointment.
Oh, okay.
But could be wrong.
Because that makes a difference. I think if she's saying that, like, can we get rid of this because, we're adults and we don't have, like, sports posters on our walls, I think that's a valid argument. I think if she's, like, a diehard Patriots fan who's saying, like, well, Tom's not on the team anymore, I don't think you should take that down because Tom's not on the team anymore. I think you should take it down because it's ridiculous to have a fucking tapestry of a sports team in your apartment.
Yeah, I agree. In fact, Tom not being on the team anymore almost makes it like better.
Yeah, it's a classic. The good old days. I was around for the dynasty, like all that shit.
Right. Yeah. It's a completely preposterous thing to be hanging in a shared bedroom of a couple.
A dorm room, fine. Fresh out of college, single guy. I'll give you a couple years of it. With mixed company, what is this? What are we doing here?
I don't know. It just looks good.
Does it though? Yeah. That's a no go. You're gonna lose that battle. Like if you're a guy, let me tell you this much: if you're a guy, wait until your girlfriend asks you to take this thing down, so that you get credit for it. But also, don't put up a fight because it's a battle you are going to lose. So you might as well get the credit for like, hey, honey, I love this thing, but I'm willing to change it for you because I promise you, no guy has ever won the battle of like, no, we're going to keep it like a man cave.
Yeah. We'll keep it the same Pauly girl sign. No, you won't.
No, you're taking down the neon fucking bar sign, the Belushi poster, the sports posters. All of it is fucking done.
Yeah,
so
you're gonna go on Wayfair. You're gonna go to Pier 1 Imports, and you're gonna get some bullshit to hang on the wall. That guess what? You're gonna end up liking.
Yeah, you will.
You know what? This is better than a ripped poster.
100%.
You're right. This does make me feel like I'm more at home rather than a goddamn fucking
like a facility, like an institution. Yeah. All right. Last voicemail of the day is brought to you by Caliper CBD. So right now, people are stuck at home. You're not going out to work. You're not getting to the gym. Your routine is off. Maybe you have to do more parenting. You're doing more work. Maybe you're stuck with some people you don't want to be. There's a lot of things right now that's causing a lot of problems for people. You might be more stressed. You might be feeling more pain and soreness. And CBD can help all these things. It can keep you calm. It can help you sleep easier. It can help all of us de-stress and live a healthier, more relaxed lifestyle. I know that I have all these things. I got chronic pain. I don't sleep well. I get anxious. I get stressed. I get nervous. And CBD can help me fix all these issues. And that's what's great about the Caliper CBD is that it's a powder that's completely tasteless. It mixes into any food or drink. There's no oil. It's tasteless. It doesn't give you that weird feeling in your mouth. Each packet is 20 milligrams. So you know exactly how much CBD you're using. You never have to question how much you're using again. Anytime you're doing oil droplets, it's like, I don't know how much I just put in. But now when you have 20 milligram packets of powder, you pour it in the water, you mix it up. And think about it. Oil and water do not mix. Your body is made mostly of water. So CBD is not getting into your system when you use these other companies with these oils. But the Caliper CBD absorbs 450% more CBD. And it's going to work twice as fast as the other CBD oils on the market. So just in 15 minutes, you can get all the benefits of CBD when you use the Caliper packs. They come in 10 and 30 count packs, and you can get started for just under $20. It's THC free. You don't get high. It's all natural, no non-GMO, no fillers, no chemicals, no artificial ingredients. And right now you can get 20% off when you go to trycaliper.com/KFC. That's trycaliper, CALIPER.com/KFC. Get 20% off and a risk-free 30-day trial where if you don't like it, you get a full refund. It's trycaliper.com/KFC.
Hey, what's up, guys? I was on watch with a buddy, and we were arguing about who the least memorable superstar was for their sport. My main point that I was throwing out is that it doesn't matter how good Mike Trout is, he will not be remembered because he's so fucking boring. Want to hear your guys' take on it?
See, I think the opposite. I think the total opposite.
I think it's come full circle.
But I also believe that down the road, what people are going to do is like what we do now. You open up like Baseball Reference and you look at the stats and you go, holy shit, this guy was awesome. You can't open up a website and read about how he lacked endorsements and didn't have personality. The only thing that lasts are your numbers. And what's awesome about Mike Trout is his numbers. So I think he's going to age incredibly. What's wrong?
Fucking
Pinch your finger on your rocking chair. He froze perfectly. I'll just wrap this question up without him. The least memorable sport figure for every sport, for each sport. I mean, hockey's tough because in general, you could say hockey, all the sports, all the hockey greats are going to be not so memorable. I mean, we know the names right now, but if you're talking to an average sports fan 50 years from now, you're going to tell me about, I don't know, Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid and shit. I mean, yeah, like their numbers will be great, like I said, but I don't know if you'll remember much else about them. Basketball is interesting because there's so many superstars that, like, if you're not like LeBron or Steph Curry or one of these really popular ones, like Dame Lillard's fucking awesome. And people who watch the sport know it, and they know like how great he is. But if he doesn't get over the hump and win a title, there's plenty of guys in the NBA who get blocked by dynasties all the time. The Patrick Ewings and the Charles Barkleys of the 90s. And then you go into, like, you look at now, you got, like, you know, the Russell Westbrooks, the Chris Pauls, Dame Lillard. You know, those guys, a lot of NBA guys end up kind of getting forgotten. Although sometimes you start to get remembered because of that. It's like, oh, man, this guy never won a ring, but he was fucking incredible. But it's tough in certain sports where you either win and you're immortalized, or you don't and you're forgotten. You know, if you're a quarterback who doesn't win a ring, you're a Phillip Rivers type, and everyone else in your class won one, you'll probably get forgotten. But I do believe that certain guys actually age better. If what you lack is personality, you'll age fine. If what you lack is numbers, stats, and championships, then you're extra fucked because people don't remember your commercials and your interviews and your jokes and your personality, your tweets and shit. What they're going to do is look up your numbers. And when people see that Mike Trout fucking hit 40 a year every year with Gold Glove, batting .330, all this shit, he will be remembered as an all-time great. Let's get into our interviews now. Brought to you by Roan Apparel. We got Josh Wolf, who dialed in from sweet California. Awesome dude. We're best friends by now. That old man has taught me more about this industry than anybody else. I went on his show last week, and we chopped it up for a good hour, just shooting the shit about TikTok and quarantine and getting old and fucking around and being idiots, talking about all the weird videos that Josh has sent us and whatnot. So it's brought to you by Roan Apparel. Now, Roan's perfect for this lifestyle because you want to stay comfortable when you're in your house. I mean, jeans, what are jeans? I don't even remember jeans. If you're wearing jeans right now, you're a freak of nature. But because you don't want to get in this rut of like wearing a bathrobe every day where you'll almost get like depressed, you want something that's a little bit, you look a little bit sharp. Perfect. That's what Roan does. It's the perfect in-between. It's a men's performance lifestyle and premium activewear brand. So it's engineered for unparalleled quality and comfort. So you can be comfortable while lounging in your house. But also, if you're on a Zoom call, you show the fit, or maybe you see a delivery man, or if you're FaceTiming with people, you actually look like you're in pretty good shape. They've got the commuter collection, which I know right now nobody's commuting, but it's the perfect blend of looking good and staying comfortable, whether you're at your home office, whether you're hanging out on the couch, doesn't matter. Roan gear gives you variety, it gives you comfort, it gives you style, and it gives you high-quality gear that's going to last you a long time. It's lightweight, it's comfortable, it's wrinkle-free, it's got carefree maintenance, so it's total comfort with effortless style. Go to roan.com/KFC, RHONE.com/KFC today, and you'll get 20% off your order. That's roan.com/KFC.
Apocalypse-wise, you having to stay home and not see people on a list of 1 to 10, is that pretty good?
Oh, Josh, it's higher than 1. I think it's so funny talking with like talking with our coworkers, where I have a lot of people who are like going to need serious mental health treatment after this. Like people who are going to bed at 9 a.m., waking up at 4 p.m., they can't get anything straight. I am just
thriving,
crushing.
What's funny is that I really do have a lot of friends who are like, I've been waiting for this time. Like, this is where they're taking over the earth. You know what I mean?
When this is done, like there's a chance I'm king of America. It's just people just like this guy. He's got it figured out. He knows what to do.
I'll tell you what I love the most about this entire situation is that, like, you know, at the beginning of the quarantine, people still cared about what they were dressed like on their on the videos that they put out.
Yeah.
Now nobody gives a fuck. You know what comfortable sweatpants are. Like, you know every little secret about these people.
I had one day, I think maybe the first day, maybe the first 2 days of quarantine, I was heeding the advice of people who are not as well prepared as me for this. But it was like, okay, maybe still get dressed in the morning so you feel like a human. So the first 2 days I did that, and then since then I came home to Fall River to Massachusetts, and when my dad drove down to New York to get me, probably about a little over 2 weeks ago, I packed 2 pairs of sweatpants, 3 sweatshirts, 4 t-shirts, and 20 pairs of underwear. And that is it.
You should already be making your victory speech, man. All right, so 2.5 weeks you've been inside. In those 2.5 weeks, I want to take a guess how many times you've showered. How many days? You've been in quarantine, how many days?
It was 2 Saturdays ago, so 16 days. You're not going to believe the answer, actually.
Well,
longer than that.
I'm doing.
We've been in longer than 2.5 weeks, John.
Are you wearing
in Boston?
Are you wearing a tie? Oh my God. What the? You know what? Listen, if you were like, man, how can I make sure my hair looks the worst? You did it.
Well, you know what I do is when I'm just sitting around the house, it drives me crazy, so I pull it back like that. Anybody else in the world, I would take it out for the interview. Not for Josh Wolf though. I wanted to see your reaction.
That is on Kevin's. I was just telling Josh, I'm going to come out of quarantine king of America, and Kevin's going to come out a man bun guy, and it's going to.
I'm going to be the belle of the fucking ball, baby.
I hope you come out wearing a Kimura with a top knot.
Hey,
look.
Oh, you know what? Let me get. I do have a. Hang on, I got to get my kimono. I'll be right back.
Want me to show you the jacket that came in the mail? Hold on 1 second. Hold on. This is my jacket. You guys tell me what you think about this. Hold on.
Oh, wow. That's sick. That is. Oh, and it's wrong, too?
Yep, look at this shit. Look.
Oh, wow. Where'd you get that?
I went full length for quarantine, man.
That thing is unbelievable. That's such a sick jacket.
Look at this.
How comfy is it?
It's comfortable. Let me tell you how comfortable it is. I've been wearing it as a robe.
I'm so jealous right now. God damn, we were just sucking my dick saying I'm doing great at quarantine. I'm not doing nearly as good as you are.
Wait a second. I want to add something to the outfit. What's happening? What's going on at your house, man?
This is between this look and Kevin's hair. This is like all right, people are losing their goddamn minds episode.
There's no doubt. I cut my own hair the other day.
I saw that. How'd that go? You
know what, man? Look, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. How about that?
That's not high praise.
Yeah. What do you think about this, Kev? I mean, listen, who's got the better look right now? Him with his robe and his top knot, or me with my full-length fur coat and the glasses?
It's a photo finish. The glasses might give you the edge here, but between the two of you guys look.
We got it going on, Josh.
Yeah, this virtual jacket could very quickly turn into a gay orgy.
We're in quarantine right now. Look at me and you.
Let's start experimenting, Josh. I would fuck you right now, buddy. See, this is how I feel. I feel like we're about to get weird. And I said this last week. I thought that last week might have been the breaking point. And maybe I was a little premature. I think this week might be when we start getting weird with it. You know, there's just like no fucking rules anymore. Nothing but weirdness going on. Let's just embrace the new life, the new world order.
I'm gonna tell you something right now. With the glasses and the robe and that top knot, if your picture came out tomorrow that you had 8 bodies buried in your backyard, I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah.
We might be on it. We might be the subjects of a new Netflix documentary for all we know.
Dude, hey, how about Netflix? I feel so bad for Netflix. It's for our generation and for just people in the world today. It's so impossible to create content for. Like there were 2 weeks, 3 weeks where we were like, Tiger King's awesome, and then they added a new episode this week, and everyone's like, oh no, we don't.
Nobody fucking cares.
Let me ask you your take on that show though, because I'm gonna be completely honest. If you're just going just the show, just the story, take away how weird he is, it was boring as fuck.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was so weird, right?
Yeah, we said that, but right afterwards, we kind of said it. We're like, just to be clear, if this wasn't quarantine, if we didn't become like a meme, it's not that good a show. Yeah, and it was a lot of like, whoa, that's crazy for 15 seconds moments.
That's it.
And then that was it.
There was no like, I mean, the only thing that piqued my interest was Carol Baskin's like unsolved murder, and that that's usually what those documentaries get you going. You have theories and hypotheses, and you start to discuss it. Otherwise, it was just like, man, that was crazy how those straight guys kept fucking that gay guy. Man, that was crazy how everyone kept losing their limbs. Man, weird shit like that.
It was like, so it was a story that could have been told in 2 episodes.
Yeah, for sure, not 7. Yeah.
But if you were like, hey, we're going to tell you a 7-episode arc of how this 51-year-old gay dude with a mullet convinced 2 19-year-old straight guys to fuck him, I'd be like, well, he should write a book. Like, that's interesting.
I was like, yeah, I've tried meth too. I know how it happens.
What's going on, old man Wolf? How are you, man? I did Controlled Chaos last week with Sam Morrill and Taylor Tomlinson. That was a fucking trip. That's a great little show you got there. Great format, fun stuff. Guess what? This week, guess who's the panel this week is Lance Bass, Joey Fatone, and Chris Kirkpatrick. You motherfucker! Yeah, Friday at 1 o'clock. Can we get your scraps? Can you pass them off to us when you're done? I would fucking love an NSYNC episode. How great is that? Actually, you know what? No. Fuck you, Josh Wolf. I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to call our PR people right now. I'm going to get them on the horn with Backstreet Boys, and we're going to do our own fucking episode to battle with yours. Wait a second. Are you trying to tell me that the Backstreet Boys are bigger than NSYNC? Yes, I am. And if you, sir, if you think that you're going to prove otherwise, you have not done your homework, because we already had this argument and we win by a landslide. Wait a second. Here's what I'm going to say, because I don't think you're taking in the Justin Timberlake of it. Well, that's funny you say that, because who's not on your show this week, Josh? Because that's all that NSYNC is. Okay, you take him out, and you have a bunch of guys on Controlled Chaos. Let me tell you something, man. I love Lance Bass and Joey and Fatone. Wait a minute. Did I hear you correctly? You don't even have JC Chazé? Say that last one. You don't even have JC on the show? Well, I can only fit 3 people, Oh, okay. Interesting.
JC You're a stronger NSYNC guy though, because look, NSYNC's unbelievable. It's not the classic internet thing where one's bad, one's good. NSYNC is fucking awesome.
Well, let me ask you this:
Backstreet has more hits.
Name more hits? Yeah, dude, you got to do your homework on this. I know it doesn't seem this way, and a lot of people have their mind blown. You look at sales, you look at streams, you look at total number of hits and longevity. Woo-hoo-hoo, it's not even close. Okay, wait a second. Let's take the top 5 songs for both groups.
Let's do it.
Let's take the top 5 songs for both. Now, first of all, I think the top song, head to head, I think those are a push.
What do you got?
Look, when I say top song, I bet we're saying most popular, right? So Bye 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 is I Want It That Way versus Bye Bye Bye, right? I think that's a push. Well, maybe I Want It That Way has more nostalgia to it, doesn't it? And I think it holds up better. I think if you listen to it now, I feel like that's a song you can get down to. I don't know if Bye 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 is still doing it.
It's actually very strange, but we very recently had this exact discussion on the show, probably like 2 weeks ago. It's weird how it happens. But like if you walk into any room in America, right, and you go, you are The whole room is yelling back, "My
Fire.
Now I have to admit, late night shows when I'm on the road, my Saturday night shows. I know this isn't going to be a huge surprise for you, but my Saturday night late shows, I take about 100 milligrams edible, and I go on stage. And one of the things that I like to do is I'll bring my guitar out and I'll play "I Want It That Way," but I have 3 audience members come on stage and do interpretive dance behind me.
Oh boy! And I'm assuming they're on 100 milligrams as well.
Guys, there are a couple clips of those up on my YouTube channel. There's one where this girl got on stage and was so drunk and dancing so provocatively around me that her boyfriend broke up with her while she was on stage.
I'm looking this up right now. That is unbelievable. Like he got up and left, or he said like, "We're fucking done."
I said to her, I go, "Well, ask your boyfriend if it's okay for you to stay up here if there's something else." And she goes, "Oh, he broke up with me when I came."
That is special. That's the type of content you can't get that at Wawa, man.
There was another one where this soccer mom in Columbus started lifting up. She was lifting up her skirt. She went. It was Soccer Moms Gone Wild. She went bananas. They're called on my YouTube channel. I think they're all dance-offs, and there's like 5 of them up.
Yeah. Your YouTube, man. By the way, just so the people know, 1.12 million subscribers on Josh Wolf's fucking YouTube. Which, after we started Answer the Internet, we started to take a lot. Starting to look at YouTube a lot more. And I mean, we've had you and every other comedian under the sun, top celebrities, the whole 9, and we're just hitting 200,000. The fact that you're up over 1 million, Josh Wolf, is fucking nuts. And you got it all organized. The thumbnails are great. You are a YouTube fucking animal, man.
Listen, man, what's weird is that as somebody my age, that's not a normal thing, I'm still trying to. Let me ask you, I asked you this, Kev, but let me ask you in general, like TikTok. Have you gone on it?
We after doing Controlled Chaos, we ended up discussing the reasons why, and I said it on your show. I think it's weird that the parents get involved.
Me too.
I think it's weird when like grown men in their houses are doing dances, and I think there's a whole creepy section of TikTok that gets weird.
Yeah.
But if I could do all that and I could succeed at it and I was hot like that, I would do it, and I'd be like, fuck the haters.
I think the top knot gets you one step closer to TikTok.
This is my TikTok fit. I'm here. But we just had a girl, Rhea, put up a blog on the site with her TikToks, and she said, "This is what I do for work. I'm going to be publishing them all on the website, and all you guys are going to be haters and tell me you don't fucking like them when I know you're watching them, so fuck off and enjoy." And I think that's the perfect way to put TikTok. It's like a lot of people hating on it, a lot of people looking down on it, and what are they doing every night before they go to bed? Falling down a TikTok hole where they watch it for like 2.5 straight hours.
I have to tell you, I don't watch it. I don't go down TikTok holes.
Well, you are also 80.
Yeah, listen, here's the truth of the matter is, it's the same thing with Dancing with the Stars. You know what? I don't want to watch other people dancing. I just don't like that. Is not a thing that I give one shit about. And
it's like the worst part of dancing. Now, again, I don't have TikTok. I told us recently I deleted TikTok because I posted 2 TikToks. Both fell completely flat. And I was like, you know what? If you don't want me, I don't want you. Fuck you, and deleted it.
I'm breaking up with you before you break up with me.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can't. I'm not fired. I quit. It's like the worst part of dancing, where it's like they're not good. It's like I want to see the Chris Brown, or I want to see the interpretive dancing on Josh Wolf's stage.
Yeah, I was gonna say it is a little ironic coming from the guy who hosts dance-offs on stage at night that he doesn't want to see dancing. But I do get that point of it's got to be. This is why I don't do karaoke. I'm not a good singer, and I'm not that funny when I'm on stage. So nobody wants just 4 minutes of like.
That's the thing, is that if you're gonna tell me, look at this TikTok, it's really funny, I'm like, okay. Or look at this TikTok, they're really good. But anywhere in between that, is like, I don't understand why I'm looking at it. But I will tell you that like I saw one of my friends from high school. He was like, I got a TikTok, bro. I'm like, what? Why did you get a TikTok? And he was like, oh, you know, I've always wanted to be a dancer. I'm like, what? When did this happen? I will tell you this. The opposite side to this is, okay? Now, I don't like watching people do dance and all that stuff, but I'm not going to lie to you. What I have been doing here at the house, because I want to unleash it, is I've been watching YouTube downstairs and practicing all the dance moves to Thriller.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not going to unleash TikTok, but I think I'm going to unleash an entire Thriller dance-off between myself and
See, that's all it is. You just got to find your niche on TikTok. It doesn't have to be the new age shit. It could be the old school shit like you, man. It's fine.
I'm going full video, though.
And I'll be eating the popcorn.
What you were saying with your high school buddy, how like he's like, you know, I always wanted to be a dancer. I feel like every guy is like that. And we're always just so fucking scared. I remember when I was younger, probably like middle school, my sister was in a hip hop dance class, and she's the younger sister. So she came home one day and they had been learning the dance to pop and sync. Shout out and sync. And I made her every night for an hour give me dance lessons in the basement so I could learn the dance to pop. Because like guys we're just embarrassed, but if you fucking show me in the basement where no one can see me, I'll fucking.
He was wearing her dresses and high heels and the makeup and the whole nine, Josh. I don't. That's what I don't like about TikTok slander. Do not try to come at me and tell me that dancing's not cool. Dancing's fucking cool, man. 100%. If you can do it,
100%.
I would be insufferable if I could dance or I could sing. You'd hate me because I would always be dancing and I would be singing.
There's no doubt that everybody secretly would like to know how to dance. I'm so curious what music she was teaching you to dance to, and if you had any of those dance moves you wanted to unleash right now.
Did any stick with you, John? Did any happen to maintain
anything? What music were you practicing to? Do you remember?
No music. You can't. You gotta learn it without the music.
Wow. So you're just in your basement going 5, 6, 7, 8, 2. 4.
You look right saying that with that top knot, by the
way. No, I'm looking at the
a long time ago. If I remember correctly, it's like you can't. You gotta learn the steps and then you put it to the music. I could be wrong on that, or maybe I just had a bad teacher who was.
I was gonna say I don't think your sister knew what the fuck she was doing. I am looking at this dance off, by the way. Homegirl really did not hold back. She is touching you. You might have almost got broken up with that night if she kept going. I
had to institute that after that night. The first thing I say on stage is, okay, I got a couple rules. First rules, no touching me.
Ass is on you, rubbing your.
But it's time for me to say no touching me. Yeah. That same show, the dudes saw her touching me. So some dude was rubbing his dick on my leg. I'm like, hey, no touching me. Do you know?
That's too much. Do you ever get sick of
dick slaps on stage?
Yeah.
My word.
When's the last time as a grown man? Oh my God. Okay. Because that reminded me, the dick on the leg. When's the last time as a grown man you gave another dude a piggyback? Because as a kid, you never realized, is that his nuts? Is that a dick? Like it's right in the middle of your back. You're like, what the?
You know, it's funny you say that. I have not given a piggyback, but I recently jumped on Phoenix Marie's back. You know her? You familiar with her work? Yeah, she's got a sturdy base on her. I hopped right on her back, and I definitely felt like my dick smushed up against her back. And I was like, this is not appropriate at all for grown adults to be doing.
No. You're like, oh, that's a dick. All right, time to go.
I feel like I give piggybacks more than a regular person, but I think I might give them to small dick people because it's never been a moment in my head where I'm like, that's his dick on my back.
Why? Like, apparently YP doesn't have a big dick because he's always on your back, bro.
I was just thinking, I've definitely had YP on my back recently, and I'm not saying anything about his dick. In fact, he's so proud of his penis. I bet he's got a pretty good dick. But I don't know. Hitting my spot.
I don't know. I feel like if it's like anything else. If you're talking about your penis, you probably don't have a great one. Do you think that Wood walked around town talking about his dick a lot, or do you think he just let that picture do the talking for him?
I think Wood walked around town in his fucking hammer pants because his fucking pants don't fit. His dick doesn't fit in anything else, and was just.
The MC Hammer stole the name of Hammer Pants from him because that's Hammer. You know what I mean? And he was like, "This is mine."
We had. So I went to high school. I went to like a boarding school where kids from all over the place were, and
Wait,
we had this.
Where'd you go? Because I went to one in Massachusetts too.
I went to one in Rhode Island actually. I went to Portsmouth Abbey in Rhode Island.
I went to North.
What's that?
I went to Northfield Mount Hermon. You know where that is?
Oh, I know NMH. Yeah, I had a few friends who went there because they have a middle school too, right?
I just went postgraduate year. I didn't do too well in my regular high school. You know?
we had 2 kids on our hockey team.
Had to take an extra year of high school. Yeah.
But there were a lot of kids, not a lot of kids, but there was a kid from Africa. We had a few kids from Africa. And one thing I got to add, everyone from Africa says they're a prince. Like everybody. Everyone's like, a lot of princes in Africa. I guess it's from different tribes and whatnot. But this kid was like 7 feet tall. And the rumor around campus was that his dick was so big, if he got a boner, he'd pass out. Because, and
hit him in the face?
The blood. All the blood would rush to his dick.
Yeah. And I feel like Wood suffered from a similar ailment.
Yeah, I mean, that's why he died early. I think that Wood probably, like, cause of death, too big of a dick. I would not be surprising if that was on the certificate.
I'm going to be completely honest. Having a dick that big does not seem good.
No. Where would you want it? If you could build your perfect dick, how big you going? We actually do a question I answer the internet. You for every inch of what is it, John? For every inch of your dick, you lose an inch of height.
There's multiple, but every inch of your dick is 2 years of life, is what I.
Oh right, okay, let's do that one. every inch of your dick
is 0 inches, not adding inches. 0 inches. Every inch you lose 2 years of your life.
So if you wanted a 7-inch dick, you got to take off 14 years. If you say the average lifespan, let's say, is 80 years, you're checking out pretty fucking early. You're dead at 66 if you want to have a 7-inch dick.
You know what's funny is I would rather take years off my life than height away from me. I was like,
oh yeah, definitely. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I'd take some.
Yeah, I think if you're talking height, it's your life is ruined. If you're dead, your life's just over. No big deal.
I think 66 seems because people are still having a good time at 66.
Yeah, I mean, my parents are 66 and they're like,
yeah,
it's not like they're on their deathbed or like shitting in diapers. They're just normal people.
But I don't.
Friend's mom is 75 and she's like fucking the life of the party every time still. So
right,
66 is young as shit.
Right.
You want to go below 6-inch dick?
Well, that's where we're at now. So I guess Josh has a fucking hammer. Okay.
I don't think I want to drop below 6-inch dick. So I think 68.
You're also thinking if you drop below something that is at least acceptable, right? Like my dick's not going to turn heads, but it's also not going to get laughed at. So if I had one that gets laughed at,
what number is that? What's not going to get laughed at, but what's not going to turn heads?
I think you got to be at least 5 to not get laughed.
I was going to say 5 is like you got a dick. You got one. I have a dick. Because if she's not reporting back to her friends either way,
If you got one that gets laughed at, your whole life is different. You got to think like you might have those extra 4 years or 8 years, but your life is miserable because as a child you were bullied, and then like that just fucked with your psyche. So now best case scenario, you're an accountant at H&R Block.
Yeah. Maybe. I was going to say you might not even have a job. You can't interview. You got no people skills because you're just mad at the fucking world.
Or you put your head down at an early age and you were like, I'm going to get back at all those big dicks in the world.
True. It'd be motivation. You can use that as a positive or a negative.
I know my base personality.
Dominate.
Could you imagine?
My base personality with the one that was not affected by penis size, that personality is not one of those. I'm going to prove these people wrong.
Yeah. But wouldn't that be great, though? Wouldn't that be great if Joe Rogan has?
I know where my motivation comes from, and it's not from fucking belittling and beating other people. It's not that.
No examples of that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be so fucking great though? If Joe Rogan has Elon Musk on his show and he's like, Elon, like, why do you like build fucking space rockets and what change the world? And he's like, I got a fucking 4 1/3 inch dick, Joe, and I'm mad about it. And I just was out to prove the world wrong.
Yeah.
Like, all right, man. Like,
build the biggest rockets in the world, Joe. Let me take my pants off real quick.
Exactly, man.
Every day I stand around like Elon he was like the kid in Superbad. Every day he was just drawing dicks in his notebook. He's so jealous of big dicks. And then he got caught by his teacher and he had to fucking draw the rockets. He's like, no, these are just rockets. And then he's like, you know what? Fine, I'm gonna go into my life's work is gonna be drawing big old dicks.
Oh my God. You know what's funny? I just watched Superbad the other day, and first of all, totally holds up.
Yeah,
such a good movie.
But then we started to get into a conversation about comedic actors and who, if you were going to take whoever's top 3 comedy movies, who would have the most impressive top 3. Now, Jonah Hill has an impressive top 3, like Superbad, This Is the End, and fill in the blank, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could never get past Eddie Murphy, Beverly Hills Cop, 48 Hours, Trading Places.
Well, especially you as a comic, I feel like you have this regard for Eddie Murphy on like a whole different level.
Sandler has a crazy.
Well, did you see Sandler versus Farrell went viral this past week?
Oh, it did?
And well, I think it's pretty even.
Their top 3 though. It was their.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I think if you take people's top 3s, the debate gets almost impossible because Sandler has some clunkers. So does Will Ferrell. It's like sometimes like how these movies even get made. But if you reserve just their gold, silver, bronze, it's almost impossible because you're talking about everybody. All these top guys have 3 classics.
Yeah, even Ben Stiller, dude. Ben Stiller has 3 crushers.
What happened with him? Like, he just started directing serious, but like the last thing I know he did was he directed Escape from Dannemora, that like Showtime miniseries, which was dope. But like, who takes such a sharp turn from like I'm gonna be in silly, hilarious movies, and now I'm doing like real life intense pieces?
Somebody who takes themselves too seriously.
I was gonna say you can guarantee that turn won't ever happen for one Josh Wolf. You ain't gonna see him at fucking Sundance one day directing a bit about like blood diamonds in the African Serengeti or some shit. No.
Sandler,
you will see me tonight in my backyard taking mushrooms if you want to tune in.
Kind of do.
You think Sandler takes himself too seriously though? You probably know more than I do. I'm sorry, Stiller. Because I think back on him in the Curb Your Enthusiasm role, where that's the whole joke is that he takes himself too seriously. So is that like real life, or is that just something?
I don't know him at all. But he does seem like a guy like Jim Carrey, who hit a certain point in his life and was like, I want to do some more serious stuff.
Yeah.
Got Ben Stiller super buff. He's ripped.
Mm-hmm.
He was always ripped though. Remember him in was it Along Came Polly?
Yeah.
Or no, even in fucking Meet the Family, Meet the Parents, when he's like in that Speedo, he's shredded.
But he's one of those guys that has always been shredded and has always wanted people to know he was shredded. So he would always find himself in movies where he was like, "Oh,
look, my shirt's off."
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
And then you got a guy like Sandler who, he's wearing basketball shorts and a sweatshirt, to the fucking Oscars if he wanted to. Like, he doesn't give a shit.
Now, if you're asking, everybody's got their own personal, but he's my comedic hero for a couple of reasons. One, he's always just kept to what he likes. Even when he was getting bashed, hey man, this is the type of comedy that I do. You know what comedy I like? I like fun. I like it not taking itself too seriously. You're always going to hear a fart joke. This is what I do. You know what else I like about him? He has always taken his friends along with him.
Yeah, big time.
That has never stopped. If he wouldn't put in the movies, he was producing their stuff. And the last thing, man, is that he's never changed, like personally. I know professionally he hasn't, but personally, never changed who he was. He showed up to the Oscars, or he showed up to Spades on Spades show in basketball shorts wearing socks with his face on it and a hoodie.
Do you think there's any point where he is self-aware to the point that he's doing that on purpose, or you think he really is just like, like would he sometimes want to wear a suit somewhere and he's like, but I got to do the basketball shorts thing? Or you think he actually is just like, this is how I roll?
I don't think so. And if you, I don't know if you guys watched the Spirit Awards. The Spirit Awards.
Oh yeah. That was great. He got up there and said like, "Fuck the Academy" or some shit, right?
Yeah, but you know what he did first? Because he was like, nobody's ever going to give me an Academy Award. You know what he did? The first people he thanked were all of the people that worked on all of his movies before.
Mm-hmm.
All of the movies that obviously were never going to get awards, that he's never been able to come out and publicly thank. He did.
Right.
That's 20 years, man. This
right.
dude has been thinking about thanking these people for 20 years. That's the kind of shit where I'm like, this guy's the fucking best. You never see him any scandals. He's not around LA fucking about.
Yeah, you know what? We might have to add him fights to our list of we're on a crusade to find somebody to say something bad about The Rock, because there's just no bad stories about him. Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard anything about Adam Sandler either. I don't think I've ever heard a bad, he didn't sign my kid's autograph. He didn't, do this or that. There's not a single bad story about him.
He is a solid dude, man. And that's why for me, if I was going to, not only that, he keeps printing money. Oh, yeah.
There's an article on him. There was an article on him when Uncut Gems came out. I think it was in the New Yorker magazine. If you haven't read it, well, you'll love it. But it's just basically about all this, where it's like he's just a regular dude. Like he shows up to his, I believe it was a $200,000 a year golf club, and he was just in basketball shorts. And he's like, "Get my too disgusting to eat here." And they're like, "Absolutely not, Mr. Sandler." And there was one paragraph that I was just trying to find. Like I can't find it right now. I don't want to type too much, but it was the author of the article reached out to a lot of people in the industry and a lot of people in Hollywood, being like, "Hey, I'm doing an article on Sandler." And he included the tidbits of their responses, and every single one, from people from like the CEO of Netflix to Conan O'Brien to Spade, Rock, Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore's was particularly like, "Let me know what you need. I will do absolutely anything for Adam at any time." And like, but everyone was like the greatest guy in the world, the most loyal guy in the world, awesome dude, never changed. It was like the who's who of Hollywood was revering him like he was a god.
If you look at even, and I know they just canceled Lights Out, which is a bummer because it was a really good show. But Sandler's interviews on there, when it's just him and Spade, you can see the genuine love that they have for each other and how great this dude, man, Sandler doesn't have to be gracious anymore. He doesn't have to be humble. He's incredibly gracious. He's so happy. You can tell. He's so happy for his friend. And I'm like, man, this is the type of dude that you know what I mean? That I want.
Yeah. I want one time, and Spade should probably be the guy to do it. He should have him on a show and be like, "It's okay. No one's gonna get mad at you or think anything of it. Just tell everybody like fuck off." Like I just want one Adam Sandler to be like, to everybody who doubted me, to everybody who says like this, that, fuck off. And I think the world would just rally.
Yeah. Each of the Spirit Awards was his way of saying that.
Dude, he had that story with when Variety was doing the Actors on Actors series during Oscar season, where was it Pitt? Pitt was telling him the story, and it was when Adam Sandler was at NYU, and a teacher took him out for a beer and said, "Look, quit. Like this is not for you. You are not good at this. You should go find something else to do." And then years later, when Sandler was on SNL and was crushing it, he was with some friends, and he bumped into that teacher at a bar. And he introduced his friends, and then he introduced the teacher. He said, "This is the only teacher who ever took me out for a beer." And that was the only thing he said. He never like rubbed it in his face. He's like, "This is a great guy. He's the only teacher who ever took me out for a beer."
Yeah, man, because the truth of the matter is, look at my bank account, rubs it in your face, and no. You know what I mean?
But you know what also, too, at the same time, like, if you're at NYU film school and Adam Sandler's getting up there doing his voices, like I could see a guy being like, "Bro, this is not gonna work." And
the same thing happened with Robin Williams. I read his book, Robin, and it was like he didn't get kicked out, but NYU was like, "Look, we have nothing else to teach you. You're excellent at what you do. The other stuff we're gonna be doing is like drama shit, and that's just like go be you, go be Robin Williams. You're like we have nothing left to teach you." And I feel like that was kind of probably something with Sandler too, where it's like, look, what you're gonna do, you're already great at. So you're just waiting.
That's gonna work, great. But otherwise, it does take a certain level too, though, of just be like, I'm gonna do goofy voices, I'm gonna do dick jokes, and I mean, like, for you, you said Sandler's your guy. Like, if you look at the mid '90s run for Adam Sandler versus Jim Carrey, Jim Carrey had in 1 year in '94. he had Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura, and The Mask in a single fucking calendar year, which is bananas.
That's absurd.
Oh my God.
It's
But I will say
disgusting.
this. So I bet you at the time, if you had asked me what's making you laugh harder right now, I would say probably Jim Carrey. Like Ace Ventura had me in hysterics.
Stitches. Yeah,
Not-
yeah.
But I would, if you're asking me which movies hold up better and which would I watch now, Sandler's.
Yeah, I mean,
Look, I watched Ace Ventura the other day, and that style of comedy that he was doing doesn't. It just doesn't hit me like it used to.
did you see, speaking of comparing the two, did you see Burt Kreischer on that stream when he met Adam Sandler?
I didn't watch that.
They did a comedy laugh aid thing a week ago with Bill Burr and tried to raise money, and Burt was the one who got to introduce Adam. And much like yourself, he said he's like my comedic hero. And Burt, I think, had a couple pops in him, and I think he was very flustered. And he was like, "We loved you in Ace Ventura. I can't wait to go watch Precious Gems." He got like all the names wrong. It was bad. It was a tough scene, Josh. It was tough. But just
Jesse Madison was his favorite movie.
yeah, oh, Happy Madison. It was so bad. He asked him. He said, "Adam, do you have Netflix?" Yeah, he fucking owns Netflix.
Oh, Netflix, dude.
It was tough. But he's like your number one. I mean, I know you have the reverence for Eddie Murphy, but as far as like movie personality type, Sandler would be your guy.
As far as comics and just how he carries himself, you're about to see my wife walk up the stairs.
Hey,
Hey.
what's up, Ms. Wolf? Where do you think Chris Farley would be at? Do you think he would be like a fucking megastar, A-lister, $500 million man, or do you think he'd be I guess him and Sandler would have just gone to the top together.
I would guess that Farley's floor is Kevin James. That's his floor.
Yeah, right. But that's the question. Do you think he would be a guy like Kevin James, who's like, don't get me wrong, had a lot of success?
Yeah.
Or do you think it would be like, I can't even think of someone who we
still be in at the end of the day, he'd obviously still be in the group with Sandler and Spade, and they'd all be working together, and he would have been in Grown Ups for sure. It's so hard to say, and I'll tell you why I think it's hard to say, because guys like Farley or Belushi or John Candy, it's almost like, you ever get the feeling that when some people die young and they've done so much young that it's almost like they know they have to get it all in right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not maybe consciously, but subconsciously, like I go 100 miles an hour, so I know this race ends sooner than it does doing 20. So I always feel like, I know this is going to sound like hippy dippy or whatever, somewhere in your body, those people who live hard and fast, that's the reason I think they're living.
Right. It's almost like he wasn't, like longevity wasn't for him. Like maybe it wouldn't have worked if he had a 30-year career as opposed to like 10 or 15 or wherever he got in.
I think it still would have worked, but I think if you had asked him honestly, you think you're living to your 60, he'd have been like,
No way, yeah.
Do you guys know who Joey Diaz is?
Yeah.
That's an easy thing to say though when you're doing fucking speedballs.
Speedballs in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you're 940 pounds,
Right.
You ask Joey Diaz, man. Joey Diaz, I've known Joe for a long time, but if you had asked him when I first met him, you think you're going to see 50? He'd have been like, nah.
Really?
No, and he lived that way. He lived that way.
Did he change? Did he slow down, or is he still doing it and he's just got that gene in him?
No. His daughter changed everything.
Yeah.
His daughter changed everything for him. But I think, so for Farley, man, I don't think there's any mistaking his genius. Here's the thing. It's like when you're a comic and you're making the comics laugh and the audience laugh, those are the guys or the girls. Farley made the performers laugh and us laugh. It was like across the board. And I don't think that slows down for him. I just don't know if he's going at that frantic pace. That would be but he was, for me, that Down by the River, that's the hardest I've ever laughed at.
Yeah, God.
The second one, the second hardest I've ever laughed at any sketch was that Kristen Wiig with the little baby hand on her finger.
I don't know that one. No.
Fucking God. But the van down by the river is the hardest I've ever laughed at a sketch.
Yeah, when he got cooking with the physical comedy, he was fucking unmatched, man. Even I love
Is that still popular now though? Like, do you think like
well,
that?
that's a good point. Like, would he have like evolved?
Is there
Like,
anyone who's even like him anymore? Like where it's like a physical he could do it all, but like
Let me ask you something. When you see somebody fall on a clip online, do you laugh?
yeah, right. That was like was that.
Physical comedy. You know, my friend Greg Garcia, who created My Name is Earl and Raising Hope, and the dude is a genius. He was on Chaos this week. But he told me once, he was like, man, I really try to make sure I have physical comedy because even though people are like, I don't like physical comedy, everybody likes to see somebody get hit in the nuts, to see somebody fall. Everybody.
Such a fine line too, though, because if you try to wedge that in, or it's very transparent that you're doing it, then it's like you're just like the dancing monkey. It's like nobody cares. But if you got, and that's why I think it all played in perfect. He was overweight and he had the big red face, and all that shit is probably why he was so funny, but also why it met an early demise.
Think about they're still talking about him. Think about how much people still reference that guy.
Right.
That's how good he was. Spade and Sandler still talk about that guy all the time. That's how funny he was. They're two of the funniest people in the world. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, there's a reason why.
Yeah. I think so.
And so there's a reason why your old ass is still out there doing it. You've got the longevity going. You got a new special out right now. And I love the way you're doing things, man. I know, we just referenced how many subscribers you've got. And I know we talked with Sam Morril pre your show last week because he did the same thing. If it ain't going to be a big bag from Netflix or something, this is the way to go because, you're handling it right in this era. Because I'd rather go get, a couple million views on YouTube over, I think, like I said, if you got a Netflix special, great. When I see someone putting it out on like the third or fourth choice platform that someone's got to hunt down, it's like, don't do that. Just don't do it.
Yeah, because the truth is when people are looking for comedy, they go to Netflix or YouTube.
Right.
Other than that, they're going to the other places first. Either they're going for you specifically, but nobody's browsing those other sites for comedy.
Right.
But right now, man, I'm doing a show on Facebook Watch called Josh Wolf's Wonderful World of Weird. And they're quick 4 to 8 minute episodes. 2 weeks ago, guys, you're going to like this. 2 weeks ago, I went for leech therapy and they put a leech on my butthole.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. Who brought this up? Somebody brought this up to us and I was like, did you say Bert? It might have been. I was like, did you say butt? Joe Coy. Joe Coy brought it up. He's like, did you see? I brought him up. I said, Joe, what's fucking wrong with Josh Wolf? Send me a video of two guys getting fisted in the asshole. What's wrong with him? And he goes, that's nothing. That's child's play. I got a video of him putting a leech up his ass. And I was like, did you say butthole? Like, not the butt cheek. Put it on your asshole.
She said to me, she goes, I'm going to put this on your root chakra. I'm like, is that what you're calling it? Okay. However you want to put it. That's cool.
What I'm going to do from now on. Hey, girl, let me put it in your root chakra. Maybe that sounds a little bit better.
Did you have any idea what root chakra meant? Were you like,
no, because she said to me, she goes, well, first we're going to put one right below your tailbone. I'm like, I know what that is. She said, yeah, right on your root chakra. I'm like, cool. We call this an asshole where I'm from. Root chakra it is. That's
and how and how long? First of all, why? What is this doing? Sucking out the bad blood or some shit?
Well, listen. Couple. First of all, I had 6 on my body. I had 4 on my back. They put 1 in my belly button, and it looked so weird because it really looked like it was trying to just dig in there. You know what the weirdest part
is? Disgusting.
You know the weirdest part was? The weirdest part was watching them grow in real time because you could watch my blood fill them up. That was bizarre. Oh. It was bizarre. But they say it does a lot of things, man. When you put them on their tongue, they put them on their fucking eyeballs, and guys put them on their dick to increase circulation.
What?
Okay.
Yep.
I was like, I was out, and I was like, hang on, it helps your dick in. Okay. I fully relaxed. I stopped cringing. I was like, oh, all right, circulation.
I did see the expression change on your face. You're like, well, that is smart thinking. That makes good sense.
You know what is real funny is you mentioned that you're doing 4 to 8 minutes, and I was just talking to John. He's been watching Quibi videos. Have you seen that? That's the new platform. That's they're and I was about to say, oh, it sounds like you're doing like a Quibi thing. They're doing like mini documentaries with high class this and that. You're just putting bugs up your asshole. Okay, so I'm not going to give you that credit.
Listen, I will tell you though. To be fair, it was a classy bug. And, I took it out to dinner. They were talking about. They were like, you get to take these leeches home. I'm like, for what? What like? What do you think? And she said, well,
you think he wants to keep the one that's been on your asshole?
Yeah.
She said she was like, I can't use this one again.
You think they get back in the tank, and the guy's like, "Oh, I had the deltoid. Oh, I had the belt." The guy's like, "I had the fucking asshole again."
Think about that. I don't know exactly what life a leech can lead, but when you're born a baby leech and you're like, I'm gonna like live in the Amazon, and then there's the one guy who gets plucked out and he gets to go on Josh Wolf's asshole. He's that guy going to work like another day at the dick sucking factory, except he's literally like stuck in your dick.
You think when he goes back in the tank, they're all like, nobody talks to him, and he's by himself in a corner, and he's like, "Hey guys, want to come over and play? Fuck you, Jimmy."
He's trying to make himself puke up that blood. He's like, "Get it out of me! Get the poison out!"
Yeah, he's got the bad breath. Nobody talked to Jimmy.
Oh my God, you're an animal. You're like torturing animals. So that's what you're doing, huh?
Well, listen, on this show, we've done a bunch of episodes. We had the leech in the butthole. We had a woman who taught me how to swallow swords. We went to listen.
Wait, hang on.
Yeah.
You can did you do it? Is that you can just learn how to?
You know how like you can put a screwdriver. You ever seen those people?
Yeah.
Taught me how to do that. I put it straight into my head, bro. It was crazy. And we did a lot of. I like weird things, man. I think I like to be pushed out of my comfort zone. I like to feel like, ooh, what's gonna happen? Because I only get to do this ride on this rock one time. Yeah. And I don't want to be scared of a bunch of shit that I've never tried, because how do I know that I'm scared of it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, wonderful world of weird. I can't think of a phrase that sums you up better, bro.
Yeah, because, and I'm not making fun of these people. Like the reason we had some problems getting people on the show, because they were like, he's going to come make fun of me. I'm like, this is silly.
Oh, I think you're awesome.
Yeah.
I assure you, everything I do in my life, I'm the butt of the joke. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about this. People are gonna be laughing at me, not you. Yeah.
I mean, it's an unbelievable fit, dude. You've had such a good long run that like keeps going, because I feel like you're not. First of all, you keep up, like you're evolving with the industry, but I think that your mentality and your approach, it's never gonna get stale, because you're just fucking down, dude. Out of everyone I know, I feel like Josh Wolf is just down. You know? Like, hey, you want to do this shot? Yep. Hey, you want to fucking put this up your asshole? Yep. You want to like set yourself on fire? Yep. I'm down, man. Wonderful World of Weird is a great name. If you ever need another one, just call it "I'm Down" with Josh Wolf. So this is on your Facebook page. Is it a live thing, or people can watch it whenever, or what?
It's on Facebook Watch, and you can come to my page or find the link, or Studio 71's page has them. And the two other shows I do on this page, I really am trying to turn it almost into a network.
Mm-hmm.
I do the high live. So on Monday nights, I smoke weed and take mushrooms in my backyard and turn on my camera, and I read children's books, and I draw paint. It's like the stoner Mr. Rogers. I draw.
Yeah.
It's really bizarre. I wear weird boas and big sunglasses.
By the way, it's such a fine line too. At the same time, everything I'm praising you for. If you were not successful and making money and shit, I would say put this man on a list, put him in a fucking institution. You're this close to being the creepy old man who takes mushrooms and like talks to the neighborhood kids.
You can make it even closer. I'm there. And then, dude, the other thing is that Controlled Chaos, which I have so much fun doing.
And that's great. It's like part game show, part talk show, part comedy, part podcast. It's very cool.
Come on next time, man.
Yeah, Fights, you got to do it next.
Whatever. I'll come on once you get JC on.
I love it. All right, dude. We appreciate it as always, and I'm sure we'll be doing more to come in the quarantine. So go follow at Josh Wolf Comedy on social. Check him out on Facebook. Subscribe. You know what? No, don't subscribe on YouTube. He's got too many as is. Yeah. We'll talk to you soon, brother.
Guys, thank you so much.
Later, Josh. Thanks, bud.
All right, big thank you to my man Josh Wolf. When this is all said and done, I want to sit down and have a nice Miller Lite with you, bud. And so this Miller Lite here, this one goes out to Larry the Cable Guy. We sat down and talked with this comedy legend over Zoom, and I can't speak highly enough about this guy. Larry is a class act. He's one of the most successful acts of all time. Super humble, super friendly, super cool, and he told us some great stories about how he got into the industry and the lucky breaks he got. Some of his stories that he shared with Ron White and Jeff Foxworthy. And when you think about it, can you think of a more Miller Lite type of crew than the Blue Collar Comedy Tour guys? You open up a cold Miller Lite, you share stories about from your redneck life back at home and your life on the road where these guys were living together, working together. He tells an awesome story about how Ron White acknowledged how good he was and how he knew he was going to have to up his game to try to compete with Larry the Cable Guy now on tour with him. It's just an awesome story that I can imagine these guys all opening up a 6-pack of Miller Lights and enjoying it, kicking back, having some laughs, and telling some good tales. That's what you should be doing with your friends every time you listen to KFC Radio, Mail Time, One Thing I Learned, Answer the Internet, all of our products. Every time you crack open a Miller Lite and watch those, you know it's going to be memorable. So get your Miller Lite on. It's the original light beer. While you're home, while you're trapped, when you finish up your work for the day, enjoy a classic. It's available for delivery today. You can get it sent right to your doorstep. Make sure you celebrate responsibly from Miller Brewery Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Larry the Cable Guy, let's talk to him.
Hey, what's happening, boys? Let me put my hat on.
I've never seen you without the hat.
I'm going to say that's a jarring look, man.
What are we chewing on right now?
I just swallowed some tobacco.
What do we got? What do we get?
I let my kids cut my hair. They took the dog clippers and cut my hair. Let me turn the light off. Hold on.
What's your chew of choice, Larry?
Well, I only do it so that I quit eating late at night and eating bad so I don't gain weight. So you can see that's working out real good. You know, I do this. I do Red Man.
Oh, you're a chew guy.
Oh boy.
I quit dipping, but I had to do something, and so I went to Levi Garrett, and I loved it. Then all of a sudden, one time my ears started ringing. Why are my ears ringing? Then I started getting dizzy. So my wife said, "Man, you're eating too much sugar. You got to quit eating sugar." I said, "I'm not eating sugar. I quit eating sugar." Well, it turns out, as soon as I quit chewing Levi Garrett, my ears quit ringing.
Oh,
There was
really?
so much sugar in the tobacco, it was literally giving me diabetes. I'm not kidding. So I don't have diabetes. I went and got checked. Believe it or not, I'm fabulously healthy. I'm down actually 21 pounds, but this is the only sugar-free tobacco on the market.
You kidding me? So you tell like dip? Does dip have tobacco in it? Dip have sugar?
It says right here. Hold on. It says, look at this, boys. Sugar.
Fucking A. How about
That's unbelievable. I never knew. Larry, I've been chewing tobacco for 15 years now. I never knew it had sugar in it. Never for a second.
Dude, tons of sugar.
That's why you get fat fights.
Dipping Frosted Flakes.
Oh man. So you got a new special out. It's out right now. Remain Seated. And it's just unbelievable, dude, to see you still doing your thing. You're out there in the same look, same style, and people still fucking howling at you, brother.
Man, you know what? I love what I do. It was my first solo project in about 9-10 years.
Wow.
But, I've done other things. I did stuff with Jeff, and we put out a CD called We've Been Thinking, and Bill and Jeff and I toured and did a thing called Them Idiots. And then I did, like, little snippets for other little shows. And, I'm a one-liner comedian, so you start burning your jokes. You can't put out a ton of albums. Coach and they asked me if I wanted to do another special. I looked, I said, well, dadgum, I got like 50 minutes here. All I got to do is write 10 more minutes. And so I did. I didn't think I could find any more Walmart jokes, but by God, I went up, I said, let me drive up there. And I walked out with 7 minutes.
Endless material, brother. Endless material.
Well, it debuted last night. I was getting a lot of good compliments on it. So, and you're right. It's just like I haven't really changed anything. I'm a one-liner guy, and I haven't frayed much from what I normally do. So,
Why would you?
Sleep. I was telling Kevin earlier that probably blue collar comedy was the thing that made me love comedy, which is so weird because I'm from Boston and I don't really. It's not directed towards me, right? It's kind of more Southern humor, and for some reason that was what really grabbed me. It's like, you know what? I fucking love stand-up comedy, and it was all because of you. You birthed me into the world, unfortunately. So you got to apologize to everyone for that.
Well, and I'll make a public written statement.
Do you think that more people who can relate to that lifestyle and those jokes like it, or people like city slickers like ourselves who are like it's foreign to us?
No, I got to think everybody likes it. It's just regular, everyday stuff. Especially when we did the blue collar, we were all different. We had different styles. I was kind of like the one-liner guy that kind of was the glue you stuck in there to, pull everything in together. And if you needed to move on to another subject, I'd throw a couple of one-liners in. We'd move on to something else. But our material... Look, everybody always likes to act a certain way, but when you're in your house with your family, you act it's a whole different deal. And I think that we're just normal guys. I grew up on a pig farm in southeast Nebraska, and, Jeff and Ron and Bill both grew up in Texas in little towns, and Jeff grew up in Hateville, Georgia. So, we're just regular guys wanting to make people laugh. We don't preach at our audience. We don't act like we're the smart ones. Oh, we're comedians, so we know everything about politics. You're an idiot. And you know what I mean? We just get up and we know what we do. We make that our goal is to make people laugh and pay their ticket price and come out and just enjoy comedy, not sit there and get lectured and bitched at for an hour.
Well, a lot of people have been laughing, bro. A lot of people over the past, how long now? What, probably 20 plus years?
Oh my God.
Blue collar, at least?
Long time. Blue collar's been around since the turn of the decade. So
how long had you been in comedy before the blue collar tour?
You know what? I was third in line. I was in Riverdance. I was a third dancer there in Riverdance. And just always was cracking jokes in between some sort of a flying camel or a pirouette. I joined. When did I start, or what's the question?
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, obviously when blue collar hit, everything just exploded. But was it a long grind prior to that, or was that pretty quickly, like you were on the scene and then you blew up?
It took about a good 10 years. I started. First time I ever went on stage was 1985, and then I went professional. I did nothing but go hang out at the comedy club for 2.5 years, almost every day, busting my chops, writing jokes, trying to figure out how to do it. And then I went professional May of 1988. I started doing the character Larry the Cable Guy, obviously, on the radio station in 1990. And then I took that to the stage in 1995 for the first time. And then, so that's a good, it's a good 10, 11 years from the first time I ever did stand up. And then in 1997, 98, it really started taking off. And then that's when I hooked up with the Blue Collar Guys. 2 years. I think they told me the two biggest comedy draws in the country at the time were me and Rich Jenny. And from that point on, when I hooked on with Blue Collar, I mean it. A funny story. I'm kind of like the Ringo Starr of the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, because they just took their opening acts out. So Ron White was the opening act for Jeff, and there was another guy that was an opening act for Bill. They didn't think he was really blue collar enough, I guess, and so they were looking for somebody else. They told him
that poor son of a bitch. Boy, did he miss out. God, he should have blue collared it up a little bit. He should have gone to Walmart.
I guess they told him it wasn't going to work. Jeff, I'd known Jeff since 1986. He's like my adopted brother, and I went up and did a little thing in Nashville, and he'd never seen me do what I do on stage, and he loved it. He said, "Oh man, that's what we used to do, sitting around the Braves games, putting on these characters." I said, "I know, it's fun." He goes, "Hey, listen, I want you to come up and I want the guys to see you, the booking agents, and see what they think about you joining our Blue Collar Tour." I said, "Okay." So my first date with them to show them what I was going to do was in Columbia, South Carolina. And I was already on the radio there and selling out the comedy club. So I probably sold 2,500 tickets that night just for the Blue Collar. I mean, it was a big night for them. There was 11, 12,000 people that night. and so Ron White, who I'd only met a couple of times, he'd never seen me before. So they said he used to just stay down in the dressing room smoking a cigarette. And then when the first guy got done, they would holler at him, "He's got 30 seconds. And Ron come up, just walk on stage, do his 10 minutes, go back, start drinking. So I'm on stage, and of course I'm a one-liner guy. So I'm 3 minutes into my act, I'm 20 jokes in, and I'm killing. As soon as they introduced me, the crowd's like, "Get her done," They said Ron came up to watch me because he had gone after me and he'd never seen me before. And they said about 3 minutes into my act, the booker said, "We knew that we were going to put you on the tour when Ron White looked out at the stage, heard the crowd, lit a cigarette, and he went, 'Ah, shit.'"
That's awesome.
In 1985.
Oh my! I've always made him work a little bit, but Ron and I have always had this little special thing together. I'll never forget. We were just the curtain jerkers on that thing. We were just the opening acts, and it started getting a little bit bigger. And I remember we went over to Foxworthy's house one afternoon in Atlanta. We'd flown up and done a show on a Friday night, and all hopped on the plane, flew back to Georgia, and we're going to fly out again that next afternoon to do another one. Then I'll go on our separate ways. And we went over to Jeff's house, which I like to call the La Quinta Inn. And we just walked up to the house. And as soon as we walked in, Ron White looked at me and he goes, "Oh, man, Dan, this is so unattainable." and I looked at Ron and I said, "Hey, Ron, never say something's unattainable. We're on a good tour. You're a funny guy. You never know. You never know what can happen. So everything's attainable." And by gosh, it just started rolling after that. So every time I see Ron, we have a good little special, hug because we had that little moment there. And he's just such a good guy. I love him so much.
I imagine you guys had. I think of you two guys as kind of the drinkers of the tour. So I imagine aside from you say you're the curtain jerkers or the unattainable, I imagine you guys had a few wild nights as well.
Believe it or not, I'm not a big drinker at all.
Really? You tweeting just now about being out of Maker's Mark. I figured you were having a grand old party at the quarantine.
I am not a drinker at all. My only vice in life has been chewing tobacco.
Really?
I love that. I love smoking cigars. I love chewing, but I've never been a drinker. I will say this: we had probably early on in my tour, and I wasn't a drinker. And early on in my tour, I will say though, it was just crazy. I mean, everything happened so fast. One minute, I'm working on a blue collar comedy tour. The next minute, they're offering me movie roles, and I look at my schedule and, I'm selling 10,000 tickets in 40 minutes in cities. So we get on a tour bus, and about 3 months into the first tour, I said, what the heck, man, let's have some parties. We're on a tour bus, and I don't think that I was, man, I tell you, I got to I think I had about a 3-month spell where that's all we did was we drank. And I remember my manager, the one good thing he did was he goes, let me ask you something. I said, what? He goes, did you fall asleep last night with half your body hanging out the bus window? I said, yeah. And he goes, and it rained on you all night long. I said, yes, it did. I was pain, and I fell asleep hanging out the window.
Yeah, so I think when you say you don't drink at all, I think that's a relative term. It sounds like you had a couple nights, brother.
Yeah, well, it was a 3-month span. I mean, it was just you got caught up in the tour. Yeah. It was unbelievable. And he called me and he told me, hey, listen, and I always credit him for this. Listen, if I hear about this again, if I hear about you guys out on that bus and you're drinking to the point that's happening, he goes, if I hear about you drinking again, he goes, I'm going to cancel every date you got and we'll start again next year because you're starting to go down the wrong road. He goes, this happens to everybody that all of a sudden they start doing this. And I told him, I said, you know what? I'll quit. I'm not a drinker anyway. I just got caught up in it. I don't want to do it again. I ain't touched it since.
Wow. That's impressive.
And that was your tour manager was the one who said that?
Yeah, my manager.
Yeah. That's smart. I mean, he's probably right. But, good thing you did that because I think you made the right choice seeing where the direction things went.
Yeah, and in all honesty, I was never a drinker. Of course, when I do my character, when I do my whole act and stuff, right. Of course, yeah, we was up here at that bar last week.
So how much would you say is an act? How much would you say is your real personality?
You know what? Early on, it was all made up. I mean, I wasn't married and I didn't have kids. So I'm making up ex-wives and brothers and, my sister-in-law, she's in fact, everything. I got married and I had kids, and there's so much humor in family life that's awesome. And then, of course, I did the Cars movies and I did Mater, and a lot of some people want to bring their kids out, and, so I always say my show went from PG 15 to PG 12. So that's pretty. My show went from PG 15, pretty good for 15 minutes, to PG 12, pretty good for 12 minutes. Things just kind of changed. I think I incorporate in my act a lot more reality, just because I'm married with kids. Before, it was just completely, completely all made up. But it's like I do jokes about like I do jokes about I would have never done before because I never had kids. But for instance, my Father's Day stuff, I talk about, man, now that you got kids, I can do Father's Day, and but Father's Day is the biggest piece of crap holiday around because that's where your wife and kids take your money and buy you crap you didn't want to begin with. So I would never be able to do those jokes if I didn't have a family and kids. So a lot of the stuff that I talk about with my family happened. I just make jokes out of what happened. And I still do my other stuff too, where it's just all completely just one-liner made up stuff, like the joke I do about, my mother-in-law won $400 in a hot dog eating contest. She ate 40 hot dogs in 10 minutes. You believe that? My mother-in-law not talking for 10 minutes. So it's still stuff like that. So I think I mix everything in real good, So I don't know.
At the start of your career, right? Let's say we're talking in 1985, Larry. If I was to tell you one of two things, what would be one of three things? What would be more surprising? Grammy nominee, fashion icon, or you have an over-the-counter drug deal?
Yeah, that Prilosec money, brother.
Over-the-counter drug deal.
Yeah, the Prilosec.
Hey, you know what's funny about that? I've done 2 national commercials, and I'm the only guy to ever go from Nutrisystem commercials to heartburn medication.
Listen, the heartburn, I don't think you could be a better spokesman, except for this guy right here. My boy John he might come for the Prilosec crown.
Larry, between the 2 and the Prilosec, I feel like I'm looking into the future right here. And I like what I see, I'm being honest.
I'll tell you what, I had, you get to a certain age, you just got to find out there's certain things you can't eat anymore.
That's a tough realization.
Live on that pill because you never know. It's always a different food that gets you because you're older. Like I can't eat chocolate anymore. Like certain candies, nacho, like Doritos. I love Doritos, but I noticed that when I eat Doritos now, it gives me a heartburn. There's just certain elements of food that I can't eat because I'm older and my body just can't take it. So
now, but despite the age, you say you are still a style icon. Do you consider yourself that?
Well, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Like we were talking about it before the show.
What's that?
I would say we were talking about it before the show, naming kind of like the iconic stage outfits. It's like Steve Jobs. You got Zuckerberg in his sweatshirt, and then maybe Michael Jackson's glove, and then Larry Cable Guy is right there.
I tell you, it was the greatest decision of my life to do that blue collar comedy tour special with a sleeveless flannel, because now everywhere I go, people expect me to not be dressed up. They're disappointed if I show up. I mean, stage is one thing, but in my real life, I'm me. I'm just a regular guy, but even if I go somewhere and I'm invited to like some deal, like I remember Tom Osborne, the great coach of the University of Nebraska, has a thing called teammates. And so they wanted on the panel that night, it was going to be a woman asking questions. And the panel that night was me, Coach Osborne, and Warren Buffett. And I said, okay. I said, people get pretty dressed up for that, because I was going to, and she goes, wow, just wear what you wear, man. We want you to wear what you wear. And I said, all right. So I show up, and they're all in their suits. I'm sitting there in a sleeveless T-shirt and a pair of camo shorts. And I wore that too because Tom Osborne said he had a presentation to make, and he stood up and took his suit coat jacket off, and he'd cut the sleeves off of his shirt. So I picked a great profession because I don't have to worry about ever dressing up. So
what would have been plan B?
I didn't really have a plan B.
Always the way. I feel like the people who make it the biggest, they didn't have any sort of safety net or fallback, because at some point during that 10 years before it pops, you probably would have just said, fuck it, I'm going to go do whatever.
I tell you, I'm just so thankful. I mean, honestly, it's everything I didn't plan any of it. Like people said, boy, that catchphrase, get her done. How'd you come up with that? I don't know. I just said it one day and I kept saying it. And all of a sudden, everybody's saying it.
Has there ever been a part of you that regret or resents it, where it gets used? See, on a much smaller scale, we had like Saturdays for the boys, which just meant like have fun and all that stuff. And then now it gets used against us in the sense like it gets used to mock us. Where it's like, no, that's not what it meant. Like it gets us accused of misogyny. Like, do you kind of feel bad or regret that like people use it to make fun of Southerners?
I didn't feel bad about that either. I mean, it's something that you do and it's fun and it's kind of like people enjoy it. When people, it's a good way for people to, they see you, they don't know what to, so they, hey Larry, get her done. It's fun. It's just a way to connect with people. I could care less if they say it or not. I think it's awesome. I'm not ashamed of it. It's something that happened. It's just like when I'm out there doing charity events, this is what always happens. Hey Larry, what's Saturdays for? I go, for the boys.
That's my guy.
I mean, it takes 1 second. They smile, you smile. People that get upset about stuff like that are just a bunch of uptight douchebags.
Hey, let's tell them.
It's the most pathetic thing. I don't get why people get all bent over stupid stuff like that. I'll guarantee you one thing. Whoever's mad about it, if they were to come up with it and put out T-shirts, I'll guarantee you they wouldn't be upset about it.
When the check clears.
Yeah, they would think it's something. Maybe they have a phrase too. You know?
Larry, you made me feel a lot better about myself right there. I like that. We've always been told that like it's not a brand, it's not a successful brand until it annoys people, and sometimes that's what happens. And guess what? Too bad.
It is what it is. And I mean, if it's a fun thing and people enjoy it and you're not hurting anybody, I don't get what the big deal is, you know? It's always funny. When I was doing this, like everything was just, I wanted to get into comedy and make people laugh and make a good living at it because I wanted to do a job that I enjoyed. And I could and so I never thought I would ever get, I mean, my goal wasn't to be this big, huge, successful Grammy nominated. I just loved doing it. And then it just got bigger and bigger and they would throw stuff in my lap. It's like the movies, you know, people always, you know, that don't like it, they'll mock your movies or those movies suck and it's like, well, you know, some people like them. If you didn't like them, who cares?
A lot of people liked them.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's not like I said, man, I got to do a movie. Can we do? Honest to God, I was sitting on the bus one day and my manager called me and says, hey, you want to do a movie? I said, what do you mean a movie? He goes, you want to do a movie? Somebody's offered Lionsgate wants you to do a movie. I said, yeah, well, I'll do a movie. What is it? It's a funny movie about a health inspector. And I said, yeah, let's do a movie. He goes, I'll send you the script. And I go, well, did you read it? He goes, yeah. I go, is it funny? He goes, oh, yeah, it's hilarious. I go, all right, well, you ain't got to send it. Let's do it. Be straight up honest with you guys. I was halfway done filming the movie before I ever knew it was a major motion picture. I thought I was shooting just a DVD movie.
And it's going to be in theaters or anything?
I had no clue.
You know how many like struggling actors are out there? Like, fuck! Oh my god,
dude! It took like a month to film the movie, and about 2.5 to 3 weeks in, I go, "Hey, somebody just said, is this like going to theaters?"
That's unbelievable. Before we let you go, because we're on time here. Were you ever aware of the urban legend that you were actually a Harvard graduate?
Oh, I've heard every one of them.
Yeah, that one, I think we've all heard that one. And I think everybody, when they first hear it, kind of believe it. They're like, oh, wow, okay, it's all an actor or whatever. Yeah. But that's got to be, out of all the urban legends you can have about you, being a Harvard graduate genius is not too bad.
Whenever I hear that, I always say, that is such garbage. I went to Brown.
Another one-liner. You're the king of them, Larry.
Easy to people. I mean, they can change your Wikipedia all they want, but just a nice, quick for you guys, just a nice, quick, round thing. I grew up on a pig farm in a town of 1,200 in southeast Nebraska. Everybody in Nebraska knows southeast Nebraska is the redneck part of Nebraska. We all have a little special bond down there. I moved to West Palm Beach, Florida when I was 15 because my dad was a jack of all trades. One thing he did, he was a preacher and he was a guidance counselor at a public school. And he got a job as the elementary principal at the 5th largest Christian school in the United States. So then I hear people go, he went to a private school. He was a rich kid. I went there for free because my dad got the job there. I got thrown out after 2 years.
Your dad threw you out?
No, he was the elementary principal.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I went to another school and still haven't received my high school diploma because they couldn't afford to pay the bill, but they let me finish out. And then I went to college for 2 years and I dropped out because I wanted to make some money so I didn't have to work through school to play baseball. I started doing comedy and the rest is history. So whoever says I went to Harvard, I went to 2 years of school, but it was a Baptist college in Georgia. And I went to more Braves games than I did classes.
Well, I would say you made the right choice, my man. So the new special is out right now. Remain Seated. You can get it on LarryTheCableGuy.com, right?
You can get it there. You can get it on anywhere you watch movies or any device you have. You can get it on DirecTV, Dish Network, Hulu, Amazon Prime, all of that stuff.
I watch it on YouTube. You can rent it on YouTube. So anywhere you watch movies and videos, check it out. It's Larry the Cable Guy. Remain Seated. Thanks so much for the time, man.
Hey, appreciate you guys. And hey, what's Saturdays for?
The boys, Larry.
Get her done. Have a good one.
See you later, Larry. Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.